Guys, guys. This is painful. This is painful. Somehow it's come to this. Somehow football has allowed 115 charges to go unattended. And we come to a point where we have to congratulate Manchester City and congratulate Pep Guardiola for winning the treble. But my real question is, how big of achievement is it really? I'm here with Kyle, Ramsey, Jay. Um, this must be a bit sour, a bit of a sour taste in everyone's mouth, right? You know, they won the title, they won the FA Cup, they won the Champions League, but behind it is shrouded in controversy, charges, legal ramifications, unanswered question. It can't just be me. I'm feeling like I got a lot of questions that need to be answered. And I don't know if you lot can answer it for me, but I know you lot must be feeling the same, surely.
Not at all, bro. Not at all. I don't even think about it. You just sound like a bitter man. You just sound
I'm a bit.
like a
It's the
bitter
integrity
man.
of football. It's the integrity of football. This cannot continue.
You ever heard of innocent until proven guilty?
Have you ever heard of no smoke without fire?
Right,
I'm just asking. I'm just asking.
right, right.
I don't know. I think remember that season we had not too long ago, actually, the COVID season. People were like null and void, null and void. I think a lot has happened this season that bring it back. Bring back the hashtag null and void. Because this cannot be allowed. I can't be the only one feeling this way. Someone, Ramsey, help me out. Surely. It can't just be me.
First of all, I just got to say congratulations. Congratulations to Pep Guardiola and his staff and his players for doing what some people said were like, the can only be done once or can only be done once in the Premier League or something that may not happen. We may never see this again for the next 20 years. Well, Pep just blew it out of the water and say, you know what, this is my year. I'm winning the FA Cup. I'm winning the Premier League. And I'm winning the Champions League. I'm winning the treble. In fact, I'm doing a three-peat treble because I got 2 league titles in the bag in a row.
Sorry, wait.
And
what's a three-peat treble?
A three-peat treble.
What's that?
Not one. It's not just one league title.
Oh, is that 3 trebles in a row? I'm confused.
No, that might come. We'll wait and see. That might come. But it's 3 league titles in a row. Only is it only Manchester United that's ever done it in the Premier League?
Twice. Yeah, twice.
Man United is the only other club to do it. And he's just done it with a treble. He's just done it with a treble. So it's just like, can't this guy get anymore? But I do hear you. But I do hear you. In the Premier League, it's obviously the Premier League charge. So in the Premier League, that one's a bit. If them 115 charges get pushed through, then I want my league title. Bring me that league title. Bring it here. Bring me my title. That's what I'm saying. Then because only Premier League Champions League, give it to them. They think going to take that with it. They tried to take it away, and then Man City got away with that one. No, them 100 and it's a bit ironic though that the people that are giving them the 115 charges are there, handed them the Premier League trophy at the end of the season, saying congratulations and shaking their hands. Yet they're investigating them at the same time. But end of the day, they did it on all 3 counts. No one could stop them. They're local rivals in the FA Cup final, barely stood a chance. And yeah, to be fair, the man cruised it. He cruised it.
Did they really?
They did. They weren't even troubled, really. Yeah. Who troubled them? Who troubled them? Who troubled them?
They were a Timberland boot away from losing the Champions League.
Exactly. Nobody troubled them because them Timberland boots were already there. In fact, they already accounted for. And even if Inter Milan did bag 1 goal, that would be the worst thing they could have done. They're happy. They better just be happy they lost 1-0 and take that, man.
As you two know, I didn't watch the game, innit? I couldn't watch. I like, when it comes to sport, I like to believe in the integrity of sports. I couldn't sit there and while you lot were celebrating. Strange. I didn't see any Man City fans on the day yet. You two were celebrating harder than Yannicka. Yannicka messaged me today. Said you had a terrible time in Istanbul. You had a whale of a time. I'm confused.
Huh? Wasn't me celebrating.
I heard it. I heard it all. Big shouts. I look at my phone. I see Rodri. I said, oh, okay, that's why.
You might have making up noise how bad Lukaku was, but that's about it.
What I'm saying, isn't it? I couldn't stomach watching that game because obviously, in the end, it felt inevitable. It felt inevitable and we'll get onto it. The title is called the Treble, 115 and a bottle. And we come to why it felt inevitable a long, long time ago. But things started just falling into place in the season. And man,
I just want to.
I had a noise on. I was like, you.
Yeah, sorry. I just want to add something. We are not congratulating City for winning the treble, right?
I don't know if Ramon already did. So
no, I'm asking you. Are you going to congratulate them?
How many congratulations? One enough for one podcast, mate?
No, but I want to know if you will.
No one will congratulate Manchester City. Okay. No, hell no.
Okay, understandable. Now, if it was Leicester that won the treble, would you be congratulating them?
I'll say well done. You did it the right way. You did it the right way.
Okay, I rest my case. You can continue the show.
Wait, you haven't made a case. You haven't made a case. No, stop. You haven't made a case.
We can continue the Tyrant podcast now. I said
no. I didn't say you can't. If you want to congratulate them, listen, the floor is yours. Congratulate them. I ain't stopping you.
No. It's just that I just wanted to know.
No. Congratulate them. I ain't stopping you.
No, it's not about congratulations. It's about you not congratulating this astonishing achievement because it's Manchester City.
No. It's not that it's Manchester City. It's that it's Man City from the 115.
Oh my! See,
it's Man City from the 115, not 0161. It's the 115. That's the area code. If they did it legitimately, you say, "Oh, well done, Pep." It's funny because Pep got a lot of hype. Pep's got. And we're gonna get onto Pep in a second, but in a bit. His two dynasties is shrouded in controversy. You got Barca paying refs over in Spain, and you got 115 charges over here in England. I mean, listen, we're gonna get onto Pep in it. We're gonna get but back to Manchester City. If you want to congratulate them, be my guest. I have no problem with you congratulating because, to be honest, you lot are brothers in oil anyway. So you know where it is. You know how it is.
I don't have no issues. I just wanted to understand.
We're 9 minutes that you ain't congratulating once.
On behalf of myself, Kyle, Ramon, and Neeks.
No,
congratulations.
Don't speak for me.
You're not joining them. Triplets in oil, because you're not about to join them. So behave yourself.
Who, me?
Isn't it? Trust me. The biggest oil rig out there. The biggest oil rig out there.
That's what I'm saying.
Sorry, Jamal, you were just giving me a congratulations.
And you're all for it.
Sorry, on behalf of Neeks, everyone, I'm congratulating Manchester United. On behalf of Neeks.
You don't speak for me. I had nothing to congratulate. Man, as a matter of fact, it's terrible for Man City. How long has it taken them to win the Champions League? How long? I mean, let's see. They got taken over in. Yeah, someone go get that doorbell. Someone Pep's calling. They got taken over in 2009, was it? And we're saying 14 years to win a Champions League. Chelsea got taken over in 2003 and won it in 9 years. I mean, if anything, this is one of the worst Champions League wins ever. This is terrible. I can't rate it.
Taken over. If they win it within 14 years, that's bloody brilliant.
Who's that? Newcastle.
Yeah.
I expect Newcastle to win it within a decade. I expect, without a shadow of a doubt.
No.
But it's a good achievement. Win the treble is a good achievement. I know, I've done it. Win the Champions League is a good achievement.
You did what? Sorry.
I won the treble. 999. I was 8 years old. We won the Champions League a couple of times, and I'm aware of how good an achievement that is. It's not easy. It's not easy. You have to win the final. It's not easy. But yeah, it's a sour taste in my mouth, innit? No, but I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be real honest. Actually, I believe the 115 charges Man City have been inflating their revenue. I believe that from day one, but nobody cared back then. Only when Liverpool started winning the title, everyone started caring. That's not it. I'm gonna congratulate Man City. No, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna acknowledge Manchester City. I'm gonna acknowledge that Manchester City have matched a great feat that Manchester United did in 1999. Pep himself has matched a great feat that he himself done in 2009. I think he's the only man to win a European treble with 2 different teams. So that in and of itself is a great achievement, and I acknowledge that. I also acknowledge that I think it's Man City's first Champions League, and that alone is something to be, you say, all right, but well done with that one, because there's a lot of teams in England, a lot of teams in the world, a lot of teams just spend money, PSG for example, and they haven't won the Champions League. There's teams who've been around for long. Arsenal, we ain't won the Champions League. The teams that's won the Champions League and they haven't won the league in their same season. And some people, you can never take away a league title from anyone, but a Champions League. But people might say, "Oh, it was a bit of a fluke. You weren't really that good. You got a bit lucky." When you're winning the league and the Champions League in the same season, you are head and shoulders like the best, deserve to do it. And Manchester City right now are head and shoulders the best team in the world. And in reality, it's a cup competition, and they didn't win it last year. But they kind of been the best team in the world for the last 2 years, but just failed in those big moments, because they battered Real Madrid for maybe 170 minutes out of the in last previous season, but a few moments Real Madrid won the game, and that was really the difference. Whereas the moments that Man City took this year in the Champions League, they were able to actually overcome and actually win it in the end. But I think they've been the best. They've been the best, and it's only been a matter of time. So I ain't surprised. I'm not even gonna go overboard, because it's one of those things where you're like, all right, about time. And it's still a good achievement. What's really would be epic for them is to say, okay, we're gonna go and match a Real Madrid and win it back to back, or more so, we're gonna go win 4 Premier Leagues, because what they're doing, they're supposed to do. You've got the best manager in the world. You've got the unlimited bottomless pit. You can buy the best players for the best manager. You're supposed to win, and they're doing it. Now go one further. Go and do what no one else has done. They ain't done that yet. They ain't done what no one else has done. They've done what other great teams have done. But you have to give it to them, innit? Because it's no mean feat, innit? So, yeah, Man City, enjoy your celebrations.
I think you have to give them more credit than that, because I think even though a team has done it before, a lot of people have been saying previously that this Man City team needs to establish themselves in Europe. They've never done before. Remember, this isn't a team that's won a Champions League 2 or 3 and haven't won it. They've never ever done this before. They've only been to one final and they lost it. And so this was their chance to put them in that mantelpiece. People would have given Man City bare credit for winning the Champions League alone this year, because of how badly they need to win it. People are saying, "Oh, would you rather the Premier League, Champions League, whatever?" And Man City fans may have told you Premier League, but we as the outsiders will always say they need to win the UCL, they need to win the Champions League, they need it to establish themselves as one of the greats. So then, not only did they just do that, not only did they win the Champions League, which is again, we're talking about one of the biggest trophy in European football. Not only have they just done that, they won the Premier League as well as doing that. So it wasn't a case of, "Oh, what would you rather?" I'll have both. When I'm doing it, the year that I do it, I'll have both. The year that I win the Champions League, I'll have both of them. They've done the FA Cup as well, the domestic cup, and as we spoke about before, not many teams have won a European treble. Not many teams at all have won it, and maybe in other leagues the competition may not always have been there at the highest point. in some leagues they have, and I don't want to discredit anyone's league, and don't want to talk about anyone in particular, but
discredit our league, mate. Because
I'm not going to discredit a league. However, for me personally, it's the best ever European treble. For me personally, no, it is. And in the Premier League, in the Premier League alone, I genuinely think this is the best team to do it. This is the best team to win a treble. Like, if you look at Man United's team, don't get me wrong, I'm never going to discredit Man United's treble. I'm not here. No. I'm never going to discredit it. However, you did get a bit lucky, and that's okay. Football's about luck. Sometimes you can get lucky. You can win a game. You can go into a game as maybe not favourites. You can go into a game where you've rested a lot of players and you end up getting lucky in the game. It happens. It's football. You got a few late goals and you won your treble. But don't get me wrong, it's a great treble. This Man City team have rolled everybody. Not one team has just said, "Yo, let me try and push you." They didn't even break sweat. Really and truly. We're talking about some of the greatest, like Real Madrid. Real Madrid have one of the greatest teams in the last 10 years. Period. No one touches that team.
You brought us to a great point, because I didn't want to have to do this. I didn't want to have to, but you forced me. How great is this treble really? No, when we put trebles against trebles, how great is this treble really? And you wanted to bring this three-peat treble. So let's talk about the.
Sure, what we're doing here. Are we just here to discredit stuff from Man City?
I had to give credit.
I want to know.
Ramon went on a 5-minute rant about how great this Man City side, the greatest of all time, clearly. And I can't have an opposing view. I mean,
no, you can. You can, but we know what you're doing here. We know what you're doing here.
Okay, all right. Yes, Ramon, you're right. Next topic. What do you want from me? Ramon, you're right. Any thoughts on this?
What did you say?
Any thoughts on this?
I actually do.
I want you to finish the point that you were making.
Oh, thank you. Thanks. Okay. All right. How great? Listen, all trebles are great. So if you're gonna rank trebles, someone has to come last. It just is what it is. You get to Olympic final, someone has to come 8th. You're still the 8th fastest in the world of 6 billion people, but you're 8th. So how great is this treble really? And I want to mention the three-peat. It's very important in this because you wanted to bring it up. The first title in this three-peat, 2021. Do you know who Man City's nearest challengers were? Ollie's Man United. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's Manchester United. Is that a challenge? Okay, that's one. He said, "All right, you got an easy one. Cool."
You only beat what's in front of you. That's what you always tell us.
You're right. But you can still judge it. You can still weigh them up and say, next season. Oh, listen, great achievement. That Liverpool side, 90-odd points. That Liverpool side that was going for a quad. Something that's actually never been done. Not matching, but actually never been done. And they failed to do it. Great achievement. And in this season, who are they going up against? Ramsey, you tell me. Who are they going up against?
This season?
Well, this season.
This in the Premier League.
Don't worry, I'll tell you. Don't worry about it. I'll tell you. You seem like you're struggling. Arteta's Tiddlywinks, Pep's old cone boy, bringing together his little Tiddlywinks to challenge his sensei. That's not a battle. That's not a challenge. He made it look like a challenge to give this false belief that this Premier League is really tough. He's coming against novice managers. And Klopp once in between. We know Klopp is like a 1 in 5 kind of guy. Man comes in between one and then he beats Arteta and Ollie. I can't take that seriously. I can't. But I give him credit. You beat an aging Real Madrid side at the end of the tether. Fair enough. You beat your old, one of the Man City, icons in Dzeko, right? Whatever that means. Fair enough. A team that's won the Champions League before. You beat a Bayern Munich who barely scraped over the line to win the Bundesliga, but fair enough in name only. Basically,
this is the team that Neeks predicted to win the Champions League, big Bayern Munich.
What you're
telling
me?
You had them as the winners.
That goes to prove my point even more. What do we know about my predictions? They're terrible. They're terrible. So if I'm predicting Bayern Munich to win the Champions League, they're probably the worst team in Europe. So let's bet. let's not call it. Let's call it spade a spade. This is a treble in name only, and I will not say that this is the best European treble of all time. It ain't better than because this team ain't better than Barca 09. It ain't. Is it better than Barca 15? I mean, obviously than MSN. I don't think it's better than MSN. The rest of the team might can argue. Is it better than is their attack better than Bayern's in 2013? Again, maybe if you look at the whole team, it might be a bit more balanced. So if we're talking about European, I'm already putting it at least third because it ain't better than for me the two Barcas at least. Even compared to the Man United one. Now again, maybe we might do it, might not do it here. Maybe do it another time. You can put in treble teams, who's better, combined 11, etc. But what the 99 team achieved, I think was a much more difficult. They had much more difficult opponents in front of them, not because they were a bad team, because they were a great team. They won 3 in a row, 3 as well. But look who they were coming up against. Arsenal, double winners from 1998. They won the league by 1 point. We won it back off them by 1 point. That's a great challenge. Inter Milan, R9 in that team, among others. So I think they won the UEFA Cup in 1998. Won the UEFA Cup was actually a decent trophy. But in 1998, I believe it was. Juventus with Inzaghi and Zidane. Like, I'm not saying that this ain't, as I said already, win the Champions League is always tough. But to say it's the greatest, are we just doing this because it's recency bias? What makes this the greatest? I don't know. Not for me.
It's the go on, Kyle.
I like to rebuttal that. I mean, I don't think it's the greatest triple at all. Not by any stretch of the imagination.
Can't hear you, Bendigo.
Huh?
Yeah, that's back. Yeah, keep your mouth towards like.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't rate it as the greatest, not by any stretch of the imagination. But I think when you're comparing the trebles like that, so you were saying with Man United's 999, you played Juve, you played Inter, and so on and so forth, and you're comparing those players, and you had R9, you had Inzaghi and Zinedine Zidane that you're going up against, but then you've also got your own quality of players that are in and around that quality. I've always said it. This current batch of football players, they don't have those kind of minerals. So it's pretty much the same kind of comparison. You're comparing Zinedine Zidane and R9s, whereas now we're comparing Manuel Akanji's and Nathan Aki's. It's no different. It's no different. So you're saying, how good was it really? It's still pretty good because it's not like Manchester City have Zinedine Zidane's, R9s, Cannavaros and Nestas and Maldinis throughout their team. They've got Manuel Akanji's and Nathan Aki's and John Stones. So it's still a great treble because the quality of football players ain't what it used to be. And that also goes to Manchester City. And like you said, Barcelona's 09, Barcelona's 15, player for player, I'd say a load of them are better than Manchester City's current players now. But obviously, their treble would be just as difficult because they're also going up against quality players that was in their era of football. It's just that this era of football, they just don't have those kind of minerals of quality of players that they did back then. So I still think it's a great treble. I don't think it's the greatest treble in terms of, is this the best team to ever win a treble? And I don't think it's the best treble in terms of what they overcame to win the treble. I think the only milestone along the way was beating Man United in the final, the first ever Manchester Derby FA Cup final, and it was hyped up. You promised me you had something for them, so I was expecting.
Were you expecting?
I was expecting something, but like you said, we already know your predictions are terrible. So, more for me. You told me you had something for them, but yeah. So, no, I do think it's a great treble, but no, I don't think it's the greatest treble, and I don't think it's the greatest or the best team to win a treble. So, yeah.
I just want to add on to something that Carl said. It's a bit it's kind of on topic a bit. So you say the players are not the same level as they were then, and I hear where you're coming from with that.
Sorry, one second, Jabal. Just let everyone know this is the leader of the Erling Defense League. Sorry, go ahead, Jabal.
Yeah. So yeah, when you say players ain't as good as they say they were, when we look at it, like when we look at the teams when you had Zinedine Zidane and stuff, where they stacked from top to bottom with Zinedine Zidane's in their positions, or was it just like a Zinedine Zidane or an R9 in the team? We got to look at it like that. We got to look at it back then. Football was more about individual brilliance, which is why you would see someone seem a lot better or be a lot better because it was on them, because it was individual brilliance. But now it's more of a system where everyone has to play their part and everything will work. For instance, Manchester City right now. Yes, we're all sitting here wondering why is John Stones furthest forward? This man's a centre back, but yet I'm seeing John Stones passing the ball, spraying passes, and taking man on and going past two people. And we got to look at it. It's a system thing. Because does Phil Foden do this in another team? Probably not. Pardon me. Most likely not. So we have to put as much as people say players are not as good as they were, which I agree with to a certain degree. We have to look at it and be like, it's changed now. So it's going to be very hard to be able to be like, oh, is there Zinedine Zidane in this team here? We have to look at it now as a system. This is the best system. It's been very efficient. It's rolled people over. Like players are doing what they need to do and they're getting the results.
No, I think
that's what I wanted to add on to that.
I think you're right. I think obviously that's why it's always, as Carl said in the past, especially in the group chat, it's so difficult to compare over eras because like back then it was about player v player. Really, is like the best individuals tended to win the major trophies, whereas now it's the best system, which obviously puts more onus on the coaches. In that way, and specifically the coaching itself, as opposed to back then you had managers, you manage a group of individuals. Of course, you got tactics and all that involved. But because if everyone's on an individual thing in the 90s and now everyone's on a system, you would say that the difficulty in doing something is still as difficult because it's a level playing field in that respect. So then how do you differentiate who's better or not? Because you can say, yeah, Man City's system is better than anything we've seen before. And then you say, well, the individuals of Man United 99 are better than anything Man City's got. Who would win? Well, I don't know. We don't know. But what do they achieve? As I said, as it stands, they both achieve exactly the same thing. 3 Premier Leagues in a row and a treble in between. And a couple of them were dominant Premier League wins. Like I think Man United's 2000 win was like 18 points. And then they won one by 1 point, which was obviously what Man City did last year. And then the last one was mediocre, to be honest. But so how do you differentiate? It's about what you actually win. And if Man City want to say, yeah, we are the greatest Premier League side of all time, they have to go and win 4 in a row, or they have to go and win a Champions League next year, because that will differentiate them from anyone else. Until they do that, it's always a debate. Yeah,
100%.
Say Man City or not. But if we're talking about individuals, just to go back to what you were saying, so you look at the Juventus squad of 98, 99. They had Henry, Antonio Conte, Filippo Inzaghi, Del Piero, Didier Deschamps, Zinedine Zidane, Edgar Davids. That's 7 out of the squad. We're talking, these are like legendary players. Inter Milan, they didn't have as many, but they had Zanetti, Djurkaeff, Ronaldo, Roberto Baggio, and they got some icons like Taribo West, Diego Simone, very good player as well, Andrea Pirlo, and then ex-Man United, Mikel Silvestre was there as well. But yeah, there's a lot of individuals. You're right. So if we would do a combined 11, at the end you come out and say, yeah, Man United 99 is better. But would Man United 99 beat Man City 2023? That's a completely different question because football's changed so much. Let me go through some of these comments quickly.
Can you imagine if that team that you said in a how would they fit in a system? Because
Yeah,
with the way how players play now, can they play in the system?
well, it's so difficult to even say that because we know them as individuals and we know them. They're so great because what they did as individual. If they were in a system-based era, we might not be able to see them do those stuff because though they were allowed to express themselves.
And we might think that they are not as good as the players before. So we got to put it like that.
Obviously, have to have a certain amount of intelligence to be able to adapt to certain systems and that kind of stuff. So yeah, listen, it's all valid. It's a great achievement. That can't be taken away from them. Well, unless the Premier League has something to say about it, but as it stands, that cannot be taken away from them. Sammy says, Neeks, I warn you about Pep and you never listen, bro. All right, Sammy. I mean, we're gonna get onto people's predictions and cop outs and all those kind of things. But well done, Sammy. You predicted that the best manager would win trophies. Well done, Sammy. Like the video, subscribe. Yeah. Tapiwa says gonna be a long decade for the Premier League because I think Pep's taking the next 2 titles if he stays. God damn. And in the Champions League, if Madrid we can't stop him or Bayern can't stop him, he's gonna get back to back. It's long. Listen, that's the challenge. That's the challenge. He has to go back to back. It's not easy. It's just not easy. Even though they played Real Madrid, Bayern Munich. Their hardest game in the Champions League was the final against Inter Milan. And a lot of people were saying, roll over, 3-4. Inter Milan could have won that game. They didn't. Of course they didn't. You can't take that away from them. But all it takes is one game. They played Chelsea in 2021, was it? Yeah, 2021. And Chelsea were not as good as Man City in general in terms of the season. But in that game, they beat them. So, yeah, if they go back to back, well done. But it ain't easy. Trini Jam says, bun Man City. Sammy says, Man City are just too good. It's that simple. They make good teams look bad. Potentially, but I don't know. Like, Man United is not a good team. They beat us in the final. Bayern Munich, they should never have won Bundesliga. I don't know. How many points they even end on?
Yeah, but when we look back, this is what we're doing now is we're looking back at what that team was. We're going to sit here. People will sit here in 10 years when, let's just say, for example, I don't know, pick out a team, Arsenal win the treble. We'll be saying, how good was this Arsenal treble team really? Man City had to play 10 times winning Bundesliga champion Bayern Munich, 10 in a row. The likes of Sadio Mane up top, who was Liverpool's key, and they dismantled them. And they were talking about Real Madrid, Ballon d'Or winners like Luka Modric in their team, dismantled. This is what we're going to do in 10 years' time. So there's and then obviously, we can debate this and that, but it's no mean feat. It's no mean feat at all. And and again, it's the way they did it. There's an argument about the way they did it. I think Tapia mentioned it.
Centre backs.
Well, Tapia. Well, even that. It's like how. I think Tapia mentioned it and he mentioned earlier about the dominance against the field. Like they didn't just beat Bayern Munich; they destroyed them. Was it 7-1 an aggregate, 5-1 against Real Madrid an aggregate? Like they're not just beating them bit by bit; they're taking teams apart. And yes, they I think Inter Milan the day got to them a bit, but it was about obviously that game was about getting it over the line. Who knows what might happen in the next year? Who knows? They may not win it again, and we can't just say that comment about they'll go back to back and then they'll win the next 2 titles is yet to be done. And again, as we talked about this season, yet to be done. That's yet to be done, and there's a long, long way to go to get that. But I mean, to eventually get that treble, yeah, it's mad. And again, people thought they could do it. I think the difference again between those 2 teams of Man United and Man City, people may not have even spoken about it at the start of the season with Man United. It was just like a, they might win the league or they might win the, even the Champions League probably was a bit, people weren't even thinking about it with Man United. Whereas there was an expectation of this City team to really go and dominate Europe. We spoke about it. We've been speaking about it for the past couple of years. Are they going to actually go and win a treble? when they won
you've been predicting it for about 5 years. Finally got that right.
Yeah, and when they went formidable, we it was like, could they have done the treble? But now but they now have done the treble, and we're piling it against the formidable stuff when they were winning Carabao Cups for fun and FA Cups and leagues. Like them are not dominating everything, and now they've just had the cherry on the top with the Champions League. We're looking at one of the greatest ever teams. We have to. Like, we can't.
No, listen. When we're talking about, I'm gonna get. As you know, I'm gonna get to that in a second. I'm really coming from. Juve into a mid-table in Serie A in '99. Yeah, Juve were the defending champions of Serie A, and they tried to put all their focus on beating Fergie, mate, and they couldn't. They full went the Serie A to beat Fergie, went 2-0 up at home and failed. Inter finished runners-up in Serie A the year before as well. They both had bad seasons, but they were great teams. They were very good teams. Don't try that one. I've done my research. But yeah, they had bad 99s, 100%. But what were you saying? Oh, great teams. I think if we're talking about Premier League, and before we get on to Pep, when we talk about Premier League greatest ever teams, as a minimum, I don't need everyone to rank it now, but as a minimum, where do they rank? So we're saying top what? You might say top 1, or what? Top 3, top 5. Where does this Man City sit? And when I say this, I'm really talking the 3, like over the, because I think yes, this is the culmination of it, but you can't take away the last 2 Premier Leagues when we're analyzing it. So where does this Man City team rank in terms of Premier League teams of all time?
Well, I actually had to think about this earlier, to be honest.
Talking to the mic.
Yeah, I had a thought about this earlier. Get myself ready for this discussion. I'd actually rank them top. I'd actually put them as the greatest. Just ahead of Man United's 99. And the reason why I say that is because there's a few things that for me personally, when I rank a team, and you're gonna say, oh, who was the greatest team in a certain league, so greatest Liga team, greatest Premier League team, or whatever, right? It's always gonna be over a certain period of time. It's nothing crazy, not like 10, 15, 20-year period. Obviously not, because it's a team. Players don't usually stay, a whole team don't stay for one team for 15 years. So it's usually like a 5, 6, 7 period of time. And so I know a lot of Arsenal fans like to say and like to consider Arsenal's invincible team as the greatest Premier League team of all time. But for me, that's never in the conversation because it's one singular season. Now, you might want to say, is it the greatest Premier League season of all time? Because what they've achieved, no one else has done. But I can't give them the credit of being the greatest Premier League team of all time because it's just not substantial enough going undefeated for a season and winning one Premier League title. And even being the greatest season, is it really the greatest season when you've got teams that have won the treble? You've got 2 teams that won a treble now. For me, winning a treble is a greater achievement in a single season than going a whole Premier League season unbeaten.
Oh, 100%. Don't let Arsenal fans hear you say that, though.
2 teams done it. What are you saying? 2 teams done it. Light work, man. Light work. Everyone doing it. Everyone doing it. Everyone next year, Liverpool do it. Light work, man.
So yeah, I can't even give them the credit or the title of the greatest season, a Premier League season of all time. So for me, Arsenal's out of the conversation. So it just comes down to Man United's 99 and City's current team, 23 team. And the reason why I gave it to City is because in football, people, fans, pundits, whoever, they like to create these little nuances. Now, people like to make up, not necessarily make up stuff. It's true. Realistically, it don't mean anything. So, for example, you've got, as me and Ramon said, you've got the 3-peat treble. Now, Man United have a treble, and Man United have done 3 in a row. They've got the 3-peat, but they never did it all in one go. Whereas Man City,
what do you mean all in treble, one go?
As in, Man City won their treble off the back of a 3-peat. So this is the year that they won. They got a 3-peat and a treble. So we call it 3-peat treble. So those little nuances, they don't really mean anything, but it's something to say that they did that no one else did. And also, you've got the Centurions. In this era of Man City, they've got the Centurions. Man United never had the Centurions. They've got the Formidables, the domestic quad. If you want to conclude the Community Shield, they won the League Cup, the Premier League, the Community Shield, and the FA Cup. They've got the domestic quad. So they've got the Formidables. So for me, you're laughing, Ramon. You're laughing. But this era of Manchester City, the stuff that they have done, all that Man United did, they have done, and some. So for me, I will give it to this current Man City side. Now, I would accept the debate and people bring forward if they want to say the 99 treble and they say, oh, this is what I think Man United's team. And I will hear it. I will entertain the debate. However, let Man City win a back-to-back Champions League or a four-peat next season. For me, there's no debate. I don't want to hear no more 99 treble. I don't want to hear it. If they win the Champions League or the Premier League next season, it's like Messi winning the World Cup. Debate done. That's it. Case closed.
That debate is well and alive, by the way. Messi
no, it's not. It's not.
When somebody drops a hat-trick in your head in the final, I question the legitimacy of that World Cup. But that's a debate for a complete other time. And we'll probably debate that around the Ballon d'Or time. That being said, listen, I'll take your point. On board. 100% disagree with everything you said. But I acknowledge that you spoke words today. No, listen, I can't. I think what you're saying. I don't agree in terms of the ultimate analysis, but yeah, there are different nuances. But there's a lot of nuances that come with the time of the 90s. You know, remember back then it was only the champion went to the Champions League. So second place went to UEFA Cup. So if we dared finish second, like obviously Man City has, or not in the top four, sorry, not first, like Pep's done a couple of times, we weren't playing Champions League football. Man City's been going Champions League after Champions League after Champions League, even without winning Pep's first season, and then obviously when Liverpool won the Champions League. That wasn't always the case in England. So it was like when you get back to the Champions League, you think you win the league. You're like, whew, all right, let's see this one again. And we played it for a couple of years. What new teams are like? It's just a different context to everything. So for me, this is how I look at it. If someone's done something first, and the next person matches it, for me, you can't be better because you done what I done. You just done what I done. You need to go one extra. And of course there are nuances, like you said, getting 100 points. And what was the other one? Winning the Community Shield. Yeah, those nuances. But it's not like Man United of those seasons were only, because we talk about the 99. We won 5 in 6 years as well. It's not like they were only winning Premier Leagues. They won the first, double in the Premier League era. Premier League and FA Cup. Then they won 3 in a row, which is the first to do it. They're the first English team to win the Champions League in terms of the Champions League era, and obviously win the treble. So it's like, I'm just like, all right, you've done what Man United has done at a time where, as we said as Ron was saying, we kind of were waiting for Man City to do this. They've been expected to do this because of the investment they've made, the amount that they've actually put into this project of actually winning the Champions League. Because obviously they were winning Premier Leagues already. To win the Champions League, it was all in. Whereas I feel like the achievement of Man United was more, and again, it's objective or subjective. No, subjective. I feel like the achievement of Manchester United was more organic. They grew and became the best team in England, in Europe, and won it all, as opposed to this artificial creation of like a Harlem Globetrotters kind of thing. I won't say it's full of 100% superstars, but it's like everything was built. Gonna get all these directors and all these things, and then we're gonna put Pep in and go with bottomless pit to go win it all. And it's like, all right, but you just done what Fergie done. You just done what Man United done. I feel like you have to go that one extra. You have to do that extra step. And I feel like you would agree with me in that, because you don't think Lewis Hamilton's the GOAT because he matched Michael Schumacher.
You know, I agree. So I don't understand why you're saying this because
I'm saying, but there's nuances. There's nuances like the amount of wins or the amount of pole position or the fact that Hamilton actually has 8. That's a reality that he actually has 8.
But he doesn't.
He was cheating.
But I gave you the nuances.
He was cheating.
I gave you the nuances, but you don't want to hear it.
100 points.
I gave you formidables, mate. Have Manchester United? Did Manchester United win the domestic quad? No.
I got Man City second.
I know you do.
Listen, but if they win the next year, if they win the 4th in a row, then I have to consider them being first. I have to consider it.
It must be rough times right now for you.
I have to consider
it. every time they do something, something else got to
That's what I'm saying. Every time. I'll consider it every time.
It's a bit like Djokovic. Djokovic won his 23rd, and people are like, "So is he the greatest now?" I'll consider it. Listen, I'm not here to make these like blankets that you know me. I'm not a man of making bold statements. I'm not a man of making bold statements, so I'll consider it.
Okay.
I'll be very calculated in my approach, and I consider that Man City might be the greatest Premier League side of all time. But man can't come and match Bolt's record and say I'm the fastest man ever. No, you got new spikes and a faster track, and all you could do is match Bolt's record. Come on, give me come on, man, come on. But listen, let's move on quickly just from Man City and briefly on to Pep. I mean, we know the answer, no, but for the sake of the debate, is Pep the greatest manager of all time?
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't think you heard what I said. We know the answer is no, but for the sake of the debate, is Pep Guardiola the greatest manager of all time?
Yes.
Is this mic working?
Okay, who is the better manager, Neeks, man?
I'm just asking the questions, mate.
Because you clearly don't agree because you're like, is this?
No, my mic wasn't working. I think my mic's not working. But listen, elaborate, innit? Elaborate. Maybe it is working. Elaborate on something sensible. Well done, Sammy. Well done. Big yourself up. Man.
Wait, we need to elaborate on the only man to win 2 European trebles. That has to be elaborated on.
That's what I'm thinking. You're funny.
That's what I'm thinking.
The treble has never held this significance until now. No. I'm sick.
Wow.
Come on. I'll be serious. We won the treble 24 years ago. My maths is right. 24 years ago. And all the Premier League fans couldn't bring themselves to say that Man United team was the greatest of all time. They couldn't do it. They said they're invincibles. They said because they never lost a game, despite them losing a lot of games and a lot of competition that season. But they never lost a game, so they're greatest. Then you had Chelsea like, well, we only conceded 15 goals and we got over 90 points. They're the greatest team of all time. And then Liverpool,
that team's gone now. No one even that's not even the conversation.
Liverpool dared say, well, listen, I know we're not the greatest of all time, but we're the second greatest of all time because we had 97 points and didn't win the league. And nobody batted an eyelid. Man United fans like, excuse me, hey, we won all 3. No, don't worry about that. That was back when 4-4-2. It was only 79 points. Nobody cares about that. Black and white TV. It wasn't black and white TV, by the way. But and now this season, before it's even done, people were crowning Man City the greatest Premier League team of all time.
Before it even began.
They win it. But the team that had already won it was being doubted. So what is this obsession with the treble all of a sudden? I'm confused.
So from my point of view, all I'm hearing is, hey guys, we're the greatest team of all time because we won the treble. Hey guys, we're the best team. All I've ever heard for 24 years is, we are the best. We won the treble. We won the treble. We won the treble. I've heard you. And I've heard you. I've heard you for 24 years. But now it's time to say, right, okay. So what about when you win 2 European trebles then? How great of a manager are you then? How great of a manager? You're the one that said, it's great, it's great, it's great, it's great. Well, try doing it twice. How about that? Try doing it twice. Try doing it with 2 completely different teams in 2 completely different leagues in 2 completely different eras of football, using your own style. I mean, Rio Ferdinand.
Big up Rinus Mikel. Big up Johan Cruyff. Big up all of the Dutch.
No, 100%. But that style he's playing with Man City now isn't the style he played in with Barcelona. Completely different. Completely different. The whole style was different.
I think he started from De Zerbi, actually.
Maybe he did. Maybe he's implemented it better. But De Zerbi's still playing with left backs. Pep's playing with 4 centre backs. When they asked him why did you win it, said we played 4 centre backs. And they had to get. And he was obviously saying they had to get rid of one in January because they couldn't defend properly. But listen, what I think, doing it once in La Liga, yeah, cool, it was great. And to be honest, like, that side and the side that beat Man United in the final in Wembley, when Rio said he just couldn't believe what he was watching after.
I don't know why.
No, I'm just saying, just from a footballer's point of view on the pitch. I mean, I could see it from the outside, but he told me what it felt like on the pitch. He said it was bad out there, bro. He's doing it again, and the way he does it is maybe it's right. Maybe it is right that they didn't beat Chelsea in that final because it felt like maybe they weren't ready yet. Because when they are ready, it's not nice for teams. People don't like it. People hated playing against Pep's Barcelona team. They absolutely hated it, and they're hating it again. They're hating it. All of a sudden, it's when you got to play Man City, you're like, oh man, we got to play Man City in the final. Man United in the FA Cup. You lot must have been hoping that Man City got knocked out all the way through. They reached the finals, like, right, okay, we got Man City now. Now we ain't the favourites. Now in one FA Cup game, we ain't the favourites. Let's see if we win the game, and obviously you didn't win it. And it's like, yeah, it's what he's doing. And Bayern Munich, yeah, he went there, done his thing, won the titles. I'm not gonna emphasize that because people, everyone does that. I'm not gonna emphasize that, but it's there, isn't it? It's just win the 3, dash it in the locker. It's like done. Germany done and dusted. Let me walk away. And then he's come over here, and certain man on this podcast, they questioned it. They questioned if he's a fraud. They questioned if he could really do it in this country. They questioned if he could really do it.
And rightly so.
He came over here and obliterated it. 5 league titles in 6 years. In your first 6 years. Not like he'd been there for 7. Well, it's not like he'd been there for 10 years and all of a sudden he started winning trophies. He just walked in and said, yep, I love that, that, and that. Oh yeah, by the way, dash me a treble at the end of it as well. And I'll stay for 2 more years and we'll see what happens then. Like, come on, that's mad. That's absolutely mad. And don't get me wrong, Sir Alex, great manager, done his thing.
Don't even mention him because you're rude. When you said "don't get me wrong," we're gonna get him wrong.
No, he's great. He's great, and I respect what he done in this country at one club and in the same yard he's been in for 20 years. I hear that. I hear that. But
you man threw pizza at him. You don't respect him.
But what Pep done is crazy, and what he continues to do is crazy. And yeah, I think he's the best manager I've seen, and his teams are the best that I've seen.
You only started watching football in 2009 or what? What's going on there, Ron?
You
were student of the game.
Mate, the football that he's showing me, I felt like I was only started watching in 2009 because it's mad.
Listen, Pep Guardiola could become the greatest manager of all time, and I think there's numbers ain't everything. I don't have actually the numbers in front of me, but I'm still very, 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 very confident that Fergie has more trophies than him. Now, of course, if he continues at this rate and he manages for as long as Fergie did, then yeah, he would obliterate that trophy wall. The likelihood of him continuing at this rate for the length of time that Fergie did is very, very slim. Doesn't mean that he can't actually surpass Fergie. But I think it's not just purely the numbers, because let's say, for example, I don't know, I haven't got the numbers, but let's say Fergie's got 45 trophies and Pep ends with 40, but he has double the amount of Champions Leagues. Then he don't need to necessarily get the other 5 to pass him or to match him, because it's the weight of the trophies as well. So there's all those things to consider. And I think the best judgment would be once his career is over, because, you know, obviously he's got 3 Champions League now, but a lot of people said this. Jose Mourinho is better than Fergie because he's won 2 Champions Leagues in, it was like 8 years, 2004, in 6 years, 2004, 2010. So look, if he got 2 after this time, look how much he's going to get. Jose's never win another Champions League. It's not happening. He's never win another Champions League. Now, of course, Pep is not in that situation. So he's in a position where he can win more Champions Leagues, and those things stack up. But then, how much onus do we put just on the Champions League? Because Ancelotti won 3 already with 2 different clubs. No, he got 4, sorry. He got 2 with Real Madrid and 2 with AC Milan. Zidane won 3 in a row, which has never been done. So there's all these different nuances and etc. etc. But it's one thing that Pep will never do because he doesn't have to. So I feel he needs to build his case another way, is what Fergie did with Aberdeen. And people say, oh yeah, but it's real. The man went to when he was in Scotland, but he went to a Scottish team that weren't winning. Nobody was winning the league other than Celtic and Rangers. He won, I think it was back-to-back league titles with Aberdeen, and European Trophy, European Cup Winners' Cup with Aberdeen against. He won 3 back-to-back. He won, but won 3 in total with Aberdeen, and won the European Cup Winners' Cup against Real Madrid with Aberdeen. And then he went to Man United, who hadn't won a league title in, I think, before he won it was 26 years, but before he joined, it would have been about 20 years, 19, 20 years. And he made them into the greatest English team of all time, and obviously at one point the best team in Europe. Pep is winning a lot, which is great, and the expectations of joining certain teams that we saw, he got to Bayern Munich, wins 3 Bundesligas, and people are like, well, you should have won Champions League. So that expectation is a different level to go in, to maybe at Aberdeen where you weren't necessarily expected to win and then win. So Pep's having to carry that expectation to every job that he goes to, which in itself is monumental. But it also is a bit easier because you go into teams that are set up to win, who were already winning before. Barca won the Champions League in 2006. He joined in 2008. Bayern Munich won the treble before he joined. Literally season before he joined. Man City won 2 out of the last 4 Premier Leagues before he joined. And then, he's won 5 out of 7. So he's taken, other than Bayern Munich, he's taken those teams onto another level. But they were already at such a high level that, for me, a number here, extra this or extra that, he needs to do. For me, he needs to categorically, win 5 Premier Leagues in a row, win 2 back-to-back, win a back-to-back Champions League. And then you're like, I consider it. Yeah, it's that. That's what he has to do. I think the football that he plays is great. He hasn't reinvented the wheel, but he has tweaked it in a way that a lot of managers, previous managers obviously hadn't. It's a style that's, through the Barcelona Academy, through Dutch football, but he just keeps tweaking it. He keeps tweaking it to match the players that he's got. And the situations that he's in. This season wasn't all plain sailing, and he just made a few tweaks here and there. But he gets Haaland, who is supposed to, all right, we're going to get Haaland to go win the Champions League. But then at the start of the season, it's like, we're not getting the best out, or the team ain't playing the best with him. We're not finding his runs. I need to tweak something. He gets rid of Cancelo. People's thinking, what? Cancelo? Best fullback in the world? How can you do? And the team's even better than before when they had him. So it's those little things that you're like, this guy's a genius. He's a master. He's one of the greatest of all time, without a shadow of a doubt. For me, I still got him second. 1 Champions League isn't going to be the one this Champions League is not going to be one that's going to tip him over the edge. But I think he's got enough time, more than enough time in his career. And of course, he's always going to go for the high level jobs, that he can become the greatest. And if he does, you have to give him his dues. Maybe if he goes internationally and wins something there, and obviously Fergie Fergie managed Scotland for a brief period in the World Cup, but he never won anything internationally. That wasn't his bag. If Pep does that, then you're like, he's doing something that no one's done before. And I think that would have to be respected. Not that it's not respected already. So for me, I've got him second. But listen, he's well on his way to being the greatest, and can't take that away from him if he does. Trin Jam says, like Klopp did with Dortmund. Yeah, I think Pep's never going to do it now. Like, he doesn't need to, unless he maybe goes to AC Milan. Like, I think that's something he could do. It's a club that's got history, but they haven't been top dogs in Europe, for example, for a long time. If you can get that team winning again consistently, that's something that but he's not going to go to, I don't know.
Yeah, he's not going to do it, is he?
Give me a bad club. He ain't going to go Roma. He ain't going to go Sevilla.
See him going like PSG, man. I see him going PSG.
Yeah, no, I don't think he got PSG. It's a bit of, I mean, if he went PSG, does it what could he do?
Only go if Mbappe's still there. If Mbappe is gone by the time he decides to leave, he ain't going there. But no, I agree with you say, Neeks. I think it's very close between the two. I think it's, for me, it's kind of like that Messi Ronaldo debate. It just comes down to preference, really. It comes down to preference. I generally think it's that close. But I give it to Pep, and maybe it's kind of that recency bias thing, where it's like you're kind of living in the moment right now, and it's that recency bias, so it's what you're watching right now. And I actually remember when I was watching Ferguson, and I used to say it. He used to get the best out of dead players. Like, when you're a great manager, this is the stuff that you're able to do. Like, when you got players like Darren Fletcher and them man there, and you're able to get the best, and you're still able to win league titles with many mediocre players in your team, but you turn mediocre into top talent. And Pep is the same. He's no different. I've always said that Raheem Sterling's a mediocre football player, but he made him look amazing. He's gone now. He's back to being a mediocre player. He's other than being managed under Pep, he's always, for me personally, always looked and been a mediocre player. And there's a number of players that are, throughout Pep's repertoire and his career that he's done that. Like, they bought John Stones. All right. He like you said, reinvents the wheel. When he was at Bayern Munich, Kimmich was a right back his whole career. Man turned him into a DM.
Philip Lahm.
Oh, yeah, Philip Lahm, sorry. Philip Lahm. He turned him into a DM. And he does that with a lot of players.
Well, remember, when he was at Barca, he had Yaya
Mascherano
and Mascherano played centre back.
Yeah, Mascherano
centre back. Playing centre back, and then he comes to Man City, he got defenders playing, centre backs playing midfield.
Yeah, so he's able to do that with players. He will see and identify a skill set and says, all right, you can do this. Stones goes into midfield. You've got Cancelo right back goes to left back. You've got he does it with all his players. Like, all right, I bought you. Rather than saying I wasted the money, let's try something else. Let's try something different. Rather than saying, okay, play with your two centre backs, two full backs, we go with four centre backs. Aki, you're left back, you can play centre back. Walker, you're right back, you can play centre back. Like, he does it with so many players at all the teams that he managed. Barcelona, Bayern Munich, now Man City. That it's those things that make a great manager. Like you said, genius. It's the same thing with Ferguson. Ferguson did the same thing. Now, he might not have reinvented their position as much, but it's the same in the sense that he got average players to play much better, because you have to remember, Man United won the Premier League with Ferguson the year he retired, and Moyes came in, and they were horrendous. But that's the same team that just won the Premier League. It's not because they were pretty bad, but it's because Ferguson's that good of a manager. You make average players better. That's what you do. That's what a good coach does. You're able to teach players something. You're able to instruct them in a certain way that elevates them, and that's what Pep does. He elevates them. So it's very close between the two. They both have very special skill sets, and they're both able to, wherever they go, wherever they decide to go, or whatever they do in their career, they're always going to be able to make the team that they manage better. People say, "Oh, can Pep do it at Roma? Can he do it at Porto when a Champions League like Jose?" I mean, of course he can. He's one of the greatest managers of all time. Of course he can. He doesn't need to prove. He doesn't need to do. It's like when people used to say with Messi, "Oh yeah, but can he do it in the Prem?" He doesn't need to. He doesn't.
Can he? That's a good question, mate. Can he do it in the Prem?
I mean, if Suarez and Aguero can, Messi can, because he's better than them.
Man went into Miami at 35. I'm questioning his greatness.
Oh yeah, sure. This Neeks guy always got an agenda,
Listen, we got listen. Man City, you got me. Pep, you done it. But next season we're coming.
Huh? No,
Premier League.
No, repeat that last sentence that you
Premier League. We gotta move on. Make sure you hit the like button. Premier League. This is a season review. It's not Man City fan channel, Man City review, Man City Pep bashing session. No. Season review. Jay, talk to me, mate.
God damn.
How far you want to scroll down?
God damn.
Talk to me.
12.
You want to know?
12 is bad.
How did it come to this?
Wow.
Bad management, bad players. What else can I say? Bro, I have. There's nothing more I can say. I'm lost for words myself. I'm thinking the same thing you guys are thinking. I don't even know what to say. What can I do?
Whose fault is it? Who is the main culpable person in this debacle? Listen, this is Chelsea's worst season since they got promoted back to the top flight. Worst ever season.
44 points.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Points. I will tell you who's directly responsible for this. Vladimir Putin.
He's trying to get us nuked, mate.
It's his fault. He decided to war with the people them, and then it made what's his face Roman have to sell up, and then now we got a new owner in who's brought in some, made some credible decisions and put us into where we are. So
incredulous decision.
So I have to say, ultimately it's down to Mr. Putin.
But surely it's down to the British government, because the British government could have said, "All right, Putin, do your thing." They didn't have to sanction him.
You're right, but they didn't. So ultimately, it's down on Putin. Because if we keep going, we got Putin, then we've got England, then we've got Bowley, then we've got Lampard, then we've got. There's too much. So the overall, if it wasn't for Putin, we wouldn't be this.
All right, let's work backwards then. Is Lampard the worst manager?
Lampard is awful. I said what I said when he joined the thing.
What did you say?
Chelsea will be lucky to have 10 points before the season ends. Lucky. And I said, and if they do get that, it will be all draws.
How many games did Lampard win? Just one?
One. The rest of them were losses. And I think one and a draw. It was horrible. We are better off sticking with Potter. Better off. We would have been relegated if it wasn't for Tuchel. So what is going on here? Like, the man was so bad. How? I don't understand. Like, I can't. We'll be here. I can't. It was awful. All I can do now is I hope that anything right now will be better. So Poch coming in is better than what we've had. It's better than what we've had. So he comes in, and we just hope that a whole bunch of people leave. He gets a team that he wants to play, and it clicks. That's all I can hope for. Right now, I couldn't tell you about next season. I couldn't tell you about anything. All I can say is I hope and I pray things are better next year, because I don't even know what's happening anymore. I can't tell you.
Ramsey, what was the thought process behind getting rid of Potter to get Lampard? I'm trying to work it out.
Well, I think you need to go back, because Thomas Tuchel started the season at Chelsea and he ended the year winning the Bundesliga. Something don't stack up there. I mean, that decision there, that started it for me. To sack Tuchel and give it to Potter, I think it's even worse. Sack Tuchel and give it to Potter. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm a big Potter fan. I think he's a good tactician. I think
he's gonna be a good wizard. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I do. I think he's got all the makings. I just think, but like, it seemed like Todd Bowley fell out with Tuchel, and couldn't wait to just press your buttons and fire him. My man's won Chelsea Champions League. Things like that don't come easy. You don't do. Not everyone does it. I know Di Matteo did it once, but not everyone does it. Not everyone just dips their foot in and wins the Champions League. Like as a process. And I'm not saying Tuchel was the be all and end all. I'm not saying he would have taken Chelsea back to greatness, but to give him the whole transfer window and then sack him after 3-4 games, like that's poor for me. That shows no man management. That shows poor decision making. And then you give it to Potter on like a 5-year deal, whatever it was, saying you're building for the future. And you can't stand him that much. Like it's going so bad that you end up having to sack him because it was going so bad. Even though you throw him into a Lions then you splash out another 200 mil, whatever it was in January to try and think that that's going to solve all your issues. And then it just goes incredibly wrong. So I think for me, the whole process stinks. And the best thing Card B can do is not necessarily get out of the club, but just step away. Step away from the footballing side. If you're giving it to Poch, give it to Poch. I don't know if he's got a director of footballing or not yet, but let them man sort it out. You need to step away. Stop trying to interfere with things. Stop trying to tell people what to do. If you're and I'm sure Poch would have come saying that because I'm sure he would have. He's been around a bit, and I don't think he would come and be a puppet and just do whatever Todd wants. But if he wants Chelsea to have any sort of success going forward, why are we talking about you on the podcast? We weren't doing this with Roman. We weren't chatting about Roman. We were just saying Roman done his thing, sacked a manager and won the league. He just kept it quiet. He just done his thing. But Todd, 44 points. I see West Ham go down with 42, bro. I see West Ham get relegated with 42 points. So that is terrible. And then you hire Lampard to what? Steady the ship? Man hired Lampard and the ship just sunk all the way to the bottom. I mean, that alone was awful. All three, it's awful, man. Awful decisions. And Brighton couldn't be happier that you took Potter off them because they're flying
now. Kyle, does it get any better for Chelsea from here?
Well, yeah, because it can't get any worse. So it has to get better. Like even if they finish next season with 45, that's better, right?
Talking to the mic.
Oh, I said, yeah. It has to get better because it can't get any worse. So if next season they finish with 45, that's better, right?
Are these players actually good?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'll be very real with you. Let's just say they've got 100 players because they've got so many, right? 97 of them are bad. They're not good players. I personally don't rate them. Obviously, I'm not the be or end all the judgment caller, but I genuinely think that most of them are not good, and because I looked into a lot of their players, like I never knew who Modric was until Arsenal were making moves for him, and Arsenal were going on like he was their next Jose Antonio Reyes, like he was their next coming. And so I said, let me go have a look at this guy. And I went and looked at him. I said, if Arsenal actually get this guy, he's going to actually turn out to be their next Nicolas Pepe. That's what I no, honestly, that's what I said. I said, if Arsenal get him, he will turn out to be their next Nicolas Pepe. So Chelsea went and usurped them. My point still stands. Like, my decision don't change because he's gone to Chelsea and, okay, it's a different club, different style of football. I just looked at him and I saw how he played because I didn't know who he was before. So I went and had a glance at him and I said, he ain't all that. Yeah, he's got a bit of pace to him. But we've had many players that had pace to them. Theo Walcott, Gabriel Bonglahor. We've had many players that have had pace, but pace don't make you a good player. You have to be able to do something with your pace. So, yeah, he's quick, but he ain't got the package. I'm sorry, he ain't got the package. And a lot of their players that they went and bought, I have the same thinking towards. Noni Madueke, what's his name? The left back, Cucurella, and there's so many players that they're so meaty. There's so many of their players are so meaty. So unless they're having a car boot sale and they're shipping off all their players and say, all right, just gonna rejig the whole team for you. But I don't think it gets much better. It gets better because you can't. Surely a team of Chelsea's caliber and a manager of Pochettino's caliber can't do worse than 44 points. They might catch a 65, but they ain't gonna do great. They ain't gonna do great. They ain't.
It's gonna be interesting for Chelsea. Very interesting for Chelsea. Oh yes, just in time. I thought, are we gonna have to move on without him or not? He's here, the man, the myth, the loser, in the house. Perfect timing actually, because we're just moving up the table. I mean, the less said about Spurs, the better. Absolutely joke of a football club. No one had to defend them, fight their corner.
There's nothing
right on up like that. The only thing I got to say about them is Harry Kane, get out.
Shout out to Harry Kane.
That's all I got to say.
Run, Harry.
So we move all the way up to the lofty position of fifth. Nat, you got to talk to me, because this time last season, Liverpool fans were, well, I mean, you were having a trophy parade for 2 cups, but a few weeks before that, you were on the brink of the greatest achievement in English football history, of a quad.
Yeah.
And this season, you finish outside the quad, outside the top 4. Talk to me. What happened? What has happened to this great Klopp side?
The man are tired, innit? I can't lie. Injuries to our attacking players, inconsistent performances, from our midfield players. It's just like we started the season where the fans were telling Klopp, we need a midfielder. Klopp, we need a midfielder. Klopp's like, nah, we don't need a midfielder. All of a sudden, like a week before the window closes, we need a midfielder. He goes and signs Arthur Melo, who made no appearances for the first team. We just literally paid his wages and helped him recover for the whole season. It was ridiculous. So, yeah, like, I blame the season going bad partly on the manager, partly on the players. And, yeah, like, it's a 50-50 thing for me still.
So you're not one of those who are necessarily, like, blaming the owners?
What does the owners have to do with anything?
I don't know. People are always on FSG's back, innit?
The owners don't play 90 minutes of football. Yeah, they own the club, and yeah, they approve our signings, but I don't necessarily blame FSG for the performances on the pitch. Like, FSG didn't let Saka look good this season, did they?
Damn, like, shot fire there, boy.
FSG aren't the reason why Man United beat us 2-1 at Old Trafford. They weren't on the pitch.
True.
We let Sancho cut in. I say he cut in and scored.
Wherever
it is, we let Sancho get the only goal he got this season.
I mean, he got more than that, but
like, that's not. Don't get me wrong. I understand why people would blame the owners for certain things, but in terms of performances on the field, you can't say it's the owner's fault. What exactly would you like? If you're saying it's the owner's fault, why would you say that? What is it?
Because they didn't buy Tchouaméni in the summer.
But was going for Tchouaméni realistic?
I don't know. I'm just
considering the owners we have here. The owners we have, they like to buy players that have potential and then develop their potential. They don't like to buy players that are already like fulfilling their potential. So buying Tchouaméni is not necessarily. He might have been a Liverpool signing, but he's not necessarily like. I don't know if he would actually be what they're looking for. They liked Minamino, bro. That's the kind of like they looked at Jota and they were like, yeah, those aren't like 90 million signings. Those are 30 million signings, bro. So they like to go for those.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest.
It was a poor season. It was a
You'd have been
horrible
awful.
season.
You'd have been awful. And
It
I
was a
think
horrible season.
And I think the end of the season where you won, obviously, I don't know, 7 in a row, whatever it was, and it gave a full sense of actually how bad you were this season. Because in the end, you finished 5th, and it was like, ooh, when Klopp found it out and put Trent in midfield, we could have won. We could have got top 4, but the season's done 38 games, and you finished 5th, and it's not even the case of you finished 5th. You're supposed to be challenging for the league title every year.
Exactly.
So even if you had got top 4, like you did, for example, the season where you had the injuries and you came back, even if you had got top 4, you say, at least we're playing Champions League. But it should never have come to that. You're supposed to be challenging. Jurgen Klopp said, book your tickets to Istanbul.
Yeah.
I didn't see one Liverpool shirt in the stadium. So what the hell were they doing in Istanbul? That's what I want to know. I think.
Wait, did he actually say that?
Yeah, he did.
When they lost to Real Madrid, he said I'm telling you, Liverpool fans, book your tickets to Istanbul.
This season was meant to be the revenge tour, man. This season was meant to be a revenge tour.
That with his chest like that so boldly. God damn.
Yeah, and Klopp doesn't do that often as well. This season was meant to be a revenge tour, but like they just didn't act fast enough.
Last season was a revenge as well. Yeah, we're gonna get Real Madrid back because they injured Salah, and then
no. Last season was a part revenge in it. We done the domestic double in the cups. You get me? And at least we won trophies, bro. Like remember,
how can you do a domestic double without the Premier League?
No, I'm talking about domestic cup double, man. Come on, man. Domestic cup double. We won a trophy this season anyway. We won the Carabao Cup, so that's what that matters.
We won the Carabao Cup. We won the Carabao Cup.
Not the Carabao Cup.
I know you would love to support Man United, but
what's the plate called again? The Community Shield.
English Super Plate.
Yeah, we won the Community Shield. Does the Community Shield count for last season or this season?
This season.
Okay, so yeah, we won a trophy this season. Come on, we're the same level as Man United.
You finished 5th. You're not the same level. You finished 5th.
You won a trophy. We won a trophy.
Yeah, correct. And next season we're
Wait. Let me land. United won a trophy. Liverpool won a trophy.
Correct.
Man City won 3 trophies.
Correct.
And Ramon, what trophy did Arsenal win again? What they were first for the whole season, didn't it? What trophy did they win? I just want to know. Was it the Prem?
Nah, you started.
Sorry, we're talking about Liverpool. We're talking about
Liverpool.
Sorry.
We're talking about Liverpool. So you know on the prediction podcast, yeah.
Yeah.
You know on our prediction podcast, you were talking about the Community Shield then. Yes, we won a trophy already. Come back. 200 days later, you're still talking about that same damn shield. Embarrassing.
It's even, bro. Show me your Community Shield. Where's your Community Shield?
That's
embarrassing, that man. Get yourself together, man.
This always comes.
Every year it gets worse. Yes, last season you're parading about some League Cup, FA Cup double.
Come on now, that was good.
And now you're parading about Community Shield. Next season, what is it? Europa League you're parading about? Come on, man.
Listen.
Standards have dropped.
We won the Europa League because we beat Young Boys at FC in the final. Woo!
Okay.
Listen. Let's move on.
I'm just saying. Yeah. Overall, I will not be deleted. I will sort out.
Man said the Klopp. I'll sort it out, man. I'll sort it out.
I'm screaming.
Hello. Yeah. Sorry. I'll be sensible for once. Overall, season poor, terrible, shocking. But yes, like what was that say? Trini Jam said, we had a better season than Arsenal. We finished in the European spot. We won a trophy, unlike some teams. You know, we didn't boogie with relegation like
you finished
other
in the
teams.
European spot.
You get me? We didn't boogie with relegations like certain teams in this, you know, and we we are still Liverpool. We go again next season.
Mate, if you got relegated, you still be Liverpool. What's that got to do with anything? We're all still the clubs that we started this season.
quickly before we move on, I just want to let you know, because we never forget when we say these things on the pod. I just want you to remember that during the World Cup, you told us the season started when the World Cup ends, and Liverpool season starts then. You said Arsenal's top now, but we're going to win the league. The season starts when the World Cup finishes. Did the season start?
Yes, it did.
Is it finished now?
Yes, because I was right. I said the season will start after the World Cup. Arsenal will not win the Premier League. Did they not lose the Premier League?
No, you told me.
I'm not sure yet. We haven't reached that part of the podcast.
I was right.
Going up the league table.
I'm the only person that called it.
Oh my
I
God.
knew it.
I mean, literally everyone predicted that Arsenal weren't going to win the Premier League, so I'm not sure.
Exactly.
As a matter of fact, you're the only one who got your Premier League prediction wrong, but we'll get there.
At the end of the day, I know ball. Yeah, and this is where I'll end.
That's why you support West Ham now. Okay.
Irons. Listen.
Listen. We gotta move up the Premier League table. Man United. Listen, I'll still with Man United. Listen, we had a good season. We had a decent season. I'm not going to say good because my standards are much higher than that guy below me. We had a decent season. Ten Hag definitely met his expectations. I would say in some quarters, as an individual, exceeded because most people didn't expect Man United to be in the top four. Didn't expect to win a trophy. Potentially, I don't think most would expect to win a trophy. Me personally, I thought, listen, we're probably not going to get top four, but if we can go on a cut run and maybe win a trophy, end our trophy drought, and then we go from there, cool. But we ended our trophy drought. We finished third in the league table, and I can't be too mad. Like the sourness of the season is not in our own season, but rather the noisy neighbours are getting louder and louder. That's really where the sourness comes. What Ten Hag and Man United actually achieved is above what I expected them to achieve, and I can't really complain. I think we got the most points of any manager in their first season at Man United since Fergie. Probably actually including Fergie in his first season back in the 80s, but since Fergie, in the first season, nobody's got more than 75 points, and I think Ollie joined mid-season. I think in his first full season, he got 74, something like that. And Ten Hag finished on 75, which is obviously a Champions League position, Champions League level points tally across all previous seasons. We've had a lot of issues, starting with Ronaldo. I think first in the summer, just in terms of him, obviously had an issue with his family, and then Martial got injured, so we had no striker starting the season, and Ronaldo then comes in later. Well, he came in very late at the start of at the end of pre-season. But a lot of issues, and then in the end, Ronaldo did the interview and wanted to leave, and we had to get rid of him and go and get Weghorst in January. So we basically played the whole season without a striker, and we were really putting square pegs in round holes and round holes in square holes. Like, it was a mess. Putting holes in holes, like it's just an endless bottomless pit to nowhere. And to do all of that and still finish third, especially at the back end of the season where Liverpool go on this run and people are Man United in this race for top four, I was just like, guys, Ten Hag got this. And he instilled that confidence that despite all the crap that's going around Man United, especially even now, we've got this ownership issue which first came to the fore. I think we've had ownership issues for ages, but in terms of them willing to sell the club and it's taken this long, he has to deal with all of this. The Mason Greenwood thing cropping back up, with that case being dropped and whether he's going to return. So many different issues, and we've just got the job done. We've won a trophy, our first in 5 years, and we're playing Champions League football next season. I couldn't really ask for much more, to be honest. Now, the only thing is going forward, I'm looking at, and we'll probably do it at the end, we need to fast track this process because Man City are moving mad. You know, if this was a Leicester, like Javon mentioned right at the beginning, or a Newcastle, like a lot of the rivals in the Premier League, you just accept, Man City, great side, they're winning. As Man United, you can't accept it. And it's the same, if Everton were winning, Liverpool can't accept that. If Tottenham were winning, Arsenal can't accept that. We can't just accept Man United winning, but I can't put that on Ten Hag. Ten Hag is not Ten Hag's fault that he joined and Man City's far and away better than Man United. He can only do what he's got in front of him. So for us, good season. Couldn't expect any more. But now it gets serious. You get your first season, you say, well, okay, cool. Now it gets serious. Now you have to be challenging for the big trophies. And that's where you're really going to be judged. But yeah, Ten Hag, Man United, I'm cool. I'm all right. I don't know if anyone's got anything to say Man United before we move on.
Oh yeah. We got stuff to say about Man United. Ramon, go first.
No, I was gonna say because kind of skipped over a couple of points and that, and I hear that. Not everything wants to get brought up, but obviously, won a trophy.
Sorry. Just before you continue, breaking news said Kylian Mbappe will not trigger his contract extension this summer, which means he's only got 1 year left. He could be moving this summer. Sorry, continue.
So what I'll say is, Edu, just call up your boys and start making your bids because it's time. It's time. Yeah, Man United. Yeah, because obviously he had a good season, won the cup. But was good.
We did
obviously ended on a bit of a sour note in the last game. FA Cup final. Got there against your local rivals and stuff. Allowing your rivals to win a double domestically and go on to potentially win the treble, which they did. I think we've spoken about it, and I think it's written down the bottom there. So, like, in hindsight, in one sense, it's like, yeah, you did good, but does it end? Do you feel like it ended badly for the Man United fans, their fan base, or like it?
Listen, Man United. Listen, I'm gonna be honest. We have the worst fan base in the world. I hate my fan base. I hate them. And we're spoiled because we're Fergie's children. We're Fergie's children, and we won everything growing up, and we feel we're entitled to win. And a lot of fans, to be fair, some of them might be younger, so they maybe only tasted a bit of victory at the back end of Fergie, and they're hungry for more. And of course, we're all hungry for more. But no, they're not. It's one extreme to the next. We're either the greatest, everyone's the best, or everyone needs to be sold, and it leads to a lot of high emotion. So I think, yeah, at the moment when Man City won the FA Cup and maybe even won the treble, people start probably cussing Man United. How can they? And as a club, yeah, you're right. The club is a terrible season as a club, 100% terrible as an institution. But for the players and the manager, you can't. I don't think you can go. You can't be too harsh on them for
me. I wanted to say, like, Neeks, during your monologue about the season, the way you painted it was like you didn't make it sound as bad. But
it wasn't bad.
Nah, you made it sound like it was an all right season, that you're making progress. The manager, But
I'm glad you picked that up because that's exactly what I wanted to give off.
But this is why I like the word context, and why I like to why I feel like I have to speak, because to get popped 7-0 by your biggest rivals, and then to get battered at Wembley and let your other rivals win the domestic double.
We lost 2-1. Go on.
Yeah. You got battered, and then on top of that, your champion. You said you won a trophy last season. That was a Mickey Mouse trophy, but this is a trophy.
There's only one parade going on in Manchester, and it ain't ours. Mane was upset. You lot had Mane plastered out there in the cold in Liverpool. He just wanted to be on the plane to Germany.
You were talking about that. You just said we won a cup. The manager's doing well. Bro, you had a horrible season. Yeah,
what?
you are just. Whoa. Neeks, let me finish. You are just as bad as me. Yeah. Your delusion levels are as high as mine. Yeah. and I will call you out for it. I'll call a spade a spade. Earlier in this podcast, I was watching on YouTube. You were like, the great Man United. You were talking about your team, high and mighty. It's the greatest team in England, bro. I won't let this slide. Make this like, oh, we're making progress. Bro, this was a terrible season for you lot, and that's it.
Mario T's comment says, I don't like United, but their bad losses were in isolation, a game here and there, so it makes it seem bad. Whereas Liverpool were dead all season, brother. You're lucky he called you brother, because I would have said something else.
Listen,
I'm not. Okay, go on, continue.
Nah, I'm just saying it. Like, you're just as bad as me, bro. You lot probably even had your season was terrible. Don't come with the we're making progress talk. Yeah, that's something maybe Arsenal can probably come with, but not you lot. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that, Mister. We're the greatest club in England. Don't give me that.
So last season we had our worst ever Premier League season, and this season we finished third with a trophy. Last season you were 2 games away from the greatest ever season in English football history, and this season you finished 5th, despite beating your biggest rivals 7-0. So you did that and still finished. So imagine this: you did that and still finished. Imagine you didn't do that. Imagine you did do that. Because you did it.
You're making the point for me. You're making the point for me.
So how can you say we're the same?
You're making the point for me. You're making the point for me.
Finished behind the team you beat 7-0. 2 places behind them, by the way.
Bro, you're making the point for me. This shows how bad you are. You let us in our bad state beat you 7-0. That shows how bad you are.
Wait, okay, you beat us 7-0.
Yeah.
Okay, what do we do with that?
What do you mean? What do we do with that?
What do we take it to the bank? Do we cash it? You parade it? What are we doing? You paraded it?
Bro, get the 7-Up trophy out now, man.
Get the open top box parade. I mean, you look parade everything. Carabao Cup, 7-Up, FA Cup. You get up.
Listen, at the end of the day, yeah.
At the end of the day, you finished 5th. At the end of the day, you finished 5th.
We finished 5th, and you're making this 3rd place sound like it was a great achievement. You lot just got there by luck. You're lucky.
Luck. We got 75 points.
Newcastle slipped up a little bit. Gave you lot some points.
That's not luck.
You guys were bad this season, man. The great Manchester United. Oh my gosh. Fam, you lot raised Fergie's blood pressure multiple times this season, man. Man's in the director's box stressing. I'm telling you, don't make it sound like you lot are good.
I'm glad you actually raised this, because I didn't even put this in my analysis. We lost 4-0 and 2-1 first 2 games of the season. And you said to Brighton got to the FA Cup semi-final.
Borders, man.
Finished in the same competition that you did, the European places. By the way.
But for Brighton, that's progress.
And
that's progress. That's regress for us. And that's progress for them.
But I don't see the point. That has no relevance to what I said. But the point I'm making is, we lost those 2 games, and everyone's like, Ten Hag, Eric 10 games, Eric 10 minutes, gonna get sacked. I think Paddy Power paid out on him being the first manager to be sacked. We, on the back of losing 4-0 and 2-1, you lot came to Old Trafford and ended up with Milner and Van Dijk pulling each other apart on the pitch. That's what happened. Your 2 most senior players were fighting each other against a team who got battered by Brentford and beat by Brighton, and Sancho put your players on the floor, on the bum. Sent Milner splits. Different.
Do we want to talk about Lisandro now or later?
Well, Lisandro finished 3rd and won a trophy in his first season in the Premier League.
Do you want to talk about Lisandro now or later? I'm just asking.
Lisandro, the World Cup winner, Lisandro. Sure, go ahead.
We can talk about him.
Oh, the World Cup winner. I think
the one that got put in a spliff, got put in a blender.
In the World Cup?
In the Premier League.
In the Carabao Cup final?
Bro, oh my days.
You're
proving my point that you're just as bad as me, by the way.
5th.
You're proving it.
You finished 5th.
You're proving it that you're just as bad as me.
Have you got anything to say on Man United before we move on?
Nah, man. I just like you said, man. Team was not team season performances. It was okay. Did what was expected. I mean, I didn't see any glimpses or any like highlights throughout the season that made me think they're back. They will do well next season. I just think they have the potential to do very well next year if they have the right summer. I mean, they're in Champions League now. They can buy certain players. Certain players are available. If they go out and get them, they have the potential to do well. Ten Hag looks like he's a very pragmatic
Very,
manager.
very bold
He knows
manager.
he's what? Sorry.
Very bold manager. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a board manager, but he's very
Is he still the
pragmatic.
best?
He goes
Always.
about it. He goes about it in his own way, and it looks like he knows what he's doing. They got a decent manager. So yeah, the season was okay. I mean, it would have been better like if they had beaten some top teams along the way to winning a trophy, or like if they had won the FA Cup and beaten Manchester City, then you would be like, you know what, next season, Man United could be a force. But it's kind of like, I mean, you can only beat who's put in front of you. I'm not taking it away from you, but I'm just saying, in terms of looking at next season, I didn't see any threat. It's not like on the way to winning the Carabao Cup, they beat Man City or they beat Arsenal or they beat Liverpool. Like it was Burnley's and Championship teams. Like so, although it's great they won a trophy, congratulations. But just looking at for next season, I just think it wasn't a real threat. And like you said, pretty much playing without a striker all season, there was a lot of negatives in the season. But to still finish third and get a trophy is a well done for Man United. But there is still a lot of work to do in the summer. Like next season is not going to be easy. Like you're still a long way behind Man City, and obviously if you like, because right now Man United fans know what the drill is. You can't go around. You've been doing it for the past 5 years, trying to rely on other teams to stop Man City doing X, Y, or Z. And there's been moments here or there where it's happened, but
And boy,
in
we
the end,
learned this season
in,
we can't
and
rely
in
on
the end,
anyone.
yeah, exactly. You
Yeah.
learn in the end. You can't rely on Arsenal to win the title. You can't rely on Inter Milan or anyone else to stop them winning Champions League. They've won the treble, and now next season you're in the same competitions that they are. You're in the Champions League with them. You're in the Premier League. You're in the FA Cup. You're in the Carabao Cup. You're in all the same competitions that they are. Now, you don't want them to win a back-to-back Champions League. You don't want them. You don't want them to four-peat. So it's in your own hands. But there is a lot of work to do because right now you're a long way behind Manchester City. But in terms of this season, yeah, it was okay. They did what they expected. Maybe a little better. I don't think anyone saw them finishing third. So, well done to Man United.
Um, we gotta move up to second place. The team I like to call the 93 percentiles. You know, you got like the Philadelphia 76ers or the um, San Francisco 49ers. I call these the Gunners 93ers. 93 percentile. Ramsey, 93%. 93%. You are top of the league for 93% of the season. Yet the 7% is the most important part. What happened? What?
First of all,
What we can
93% top of the league. Wow. I mean,
What?
in my wildest dreams, did I ever think that could happen this season?
Have some
We
shame.
At the start of the season, I considered if this team would finish fourth. I said, with the signings you make, really? 2 signings like that team's gonna push you in the top 4? I said, are you crazy? I said, to be fair, I did say that I felt like they could win the Europa League. So I did say that they could get into the Champions League next year. But what they done this year, for me, has surprised me to the maximum. I did not expect them to go anywhere near the top. Not even breathe it, live it as I see it. Nowhere near prior to the World Cup, post World Cup, going into the last stretch of the season. Honestly, I'm very proud of this team, and I think on a serious note, I think Arteta's done really well this year. Like the football we played has been brilliant. I've enjoyed watching it. I've enjoyed watching the games. You know, even the last minute wins, like the desire to sort of get to win and win and win, and to ultimately be challenging Man City for the Premier League, which nobody in their right mind saw coming. Nobody in their right mind saw coming. I mean, I still stand by the fact that I never once believed that we would win the league because I felt like there were certain hurdles we had to overcome. And the Queen dying kind of messed up our whole schedule of us not playing Man City till February. So we never really got to see them against.
Blamed it on Elizabeth.
Big up Lizzie, big up Lizzie, big up Lizzie. Don't get me wrong, big up Lizzie, but like
Lizzie,
what are you saying? She could just hold out a couple more weeks, let us just play City and see what we're really like. Give us this full sense of expectation, thinking that how good we are. But as I said, I always had my reservations, and I said at 3 points of the same. I mentioned this a few weeks ago, but at 3 points of the season, would have made us favourites if we beat Man City at home, or we beat Liverpool at Anfield, or if we beat Man City at the Etihad. And none of those three things happened. And unfortunately, we couldn't go through all the way to the end. Now, I think, in other seasons gone by, a draw here or there may not be too bad. But when you're playing against this Man City team who just win, then it's difficult. And I said this again. I said this before at the start when after they lost that game to Tottenham. Well, actually, after they won that game against Tottenham, Pep just wasn't having it. Pep was not having it. He said that they need to step up their game now because he knew if they dropped their guard again, it was going to be problems. But obviously, we're talking about one of the greatest Premier League teams of all time, as I mentioned earlier on, one of the greatest managers of all time, one of the greatest teams of all time. So it's obviously going to be difficult.
One of the biggest bottle jobs of all time. Are we gonna deal with the elephant in the room here? All right. What? No, stop. Your team bottled it. They absolutely threw it away. Forget, you weren't expected to start the season. You were there. 93%. You won your first game on a Friday night away at Selhurst Park, and people say, "Oh, this might be a different Arsenal." But don't worry, they'll flop soon. You came to Old Trafford and you lost. And people said, it's happened, and you didn't. People said after the World Cup it'll be different. Jesus got injured, and then went to the World Cup. Like, nope, he didn't. You went to. So you lost to Everton. You lost to Man City, and the downfall starts now. The next game, you extended your lead back again after Man City dropped points to Nottingham Forest. You went to Anfield and said, all right, this is the test. This is the one. And you were 2-0 up in blink of an eye. Barely loaded up my illegal stream. I mean, I barely watched the game. Barely turned on the and you're 2-0 up. Bang! Title in your hands. You bottled it. Let's call it what it is. You bottled it. You threw away a 2-goal lead to a bad Liverpool side. You threw away a 2-goal lead to a relegation-threatened West Ham side. And you went 3-1 down. You went 1-0 down in a matter of seconds at home. At home to the worst side in the Premier League and drew 3-3 before you went to the Etihad. That is, you know what makes it worse? You went and beat Newcastle after you lost. The games that were supposed to be difficult, you lost. You beat Newcastle. And then you lost to Brighton at home. And you lost to, who's the last game? Was it Nottingham Forest? You bottled it. There's no way to other than say we threw away the league and gave it to Manchester City.
Ultimately, we weren't good enough. We didn't have the team enough to win the amount of points to get to beat Man City. We're not. And I've been trying to tell you that. I've been trying to tell you we're not good enough. When you kept saying you're going to win the league, I can see it. They're going to win it. I think Arsenal are going to do it. And I said, we're not good enough. Hello, we're not good enough. This squad is not good enough to win the Premier League. I'm trying to tell you. No, but you're playing well. Yeah, but it's only to a certain extent. I'm surprised we got to April. I'm shocked. I'm like, what? Yeah, you're right. After we lost to Man City and then we went on that run, that shocked me. That completely shocked me. Beating Bournemouth in the last minute, Aston Villa, Everton at home, Leicester away. All them games, they're the ones I thought, that'll be it now. That'll be it. But they kept going, and ultimately, proof was in the pudding. The best team, the best team won the Premier League, and rightly so. And Arsenal weren't good enough. They weren't good enough in those games that you mentioned earlier on in the season. The Everton away, lost to Everton away. Everyone had a relegation battle. How you lose to Everton away? These things are showing me this team is not ready. They're not good enough. They're not got that mentality to go and win every single game. I saw it. The fact that we beat Bournemouth in the last minute, not good enough. Defensively, we're awful in that game. Terrible. And I think our defense was ultimately our downfall. Strike force, 80 plus goals or whatever for the season. Can't complain about that at all. I ain't got no blame on those men up there pulling up trees to do what they did this year. One of our best attacking seasons we've ever had, like going forward. But defensively, we just weren't good enough. And I'm not blaming it all on Saliba's injury, but you start losing pieces of the puzzle and it all falls apart. And funnily enough, we actually lost Saliba and Tomiyasu in the same game, meaning that we've basically that's it now. Our defense after that was it. That was much our defense was. Like after that, it was kind of just falling apart. We had the holding, Kivior, who barely played the game for us. Tierney, who just weren't really there to the levels that we were playing the season. So we weren't good enough to, and even with Saliba in the team, to be fair, after the World Cup, things were starting to fall apart. So defensively as a unit, we just weren't there. Our midfield weren't there defensively to carry us through. So ultimately, no, it's not good enough. And these lessons have to be learned. Same way last year, the lessons had to be learned in terms of getting over the line to finish in the top 4. You did it this year by basically obliterating the chances of even being in a competition. But this year, again, I have to credit them because I did not think they would get in the top 4, so they got in the top 4 at the end. But ultimately, the team was not good enough to win the Premier League, and ultimately, over the season's 38 games, you can't win a Premier League in 30 games. You've got to go all the way to the end, and they weren't good enough in certain periods of the season, and ultimately, it showed. And I do have to acknowledge that there needs to be, and I'm kind of weird. I said it before, but the fact that we lost the league, in a weird sense, is a bit. If we won the league, it'll be like, yeah, cool, won the league, everyone's celebrating, but then what next? What do you mean?
What do you mean? Cool, everyone's celebrating.
No, it's good. No, it's good. It's good. But it's like I don't want to get that full sense of security. Like, oh, that we're the best. Like now, now that last 8 games show you how bad we were. You lot have to go and step it up, like in the transfer market, in the squad, if that was the reason, if it was actually individuals, and ultimately mentality. I always said if football is 50% mental, they didn't have the mentality to see it through. So then man have to sort that out and go again. But can't complain at this season, man. It's been a good year. I've enjoyed the ride. Disappointing end as it was. I can't believe I'm saying disappointing end. We were second in the league, and everyone's disappointed. It's crazy, man. But credit Arteta has to get credit because at the start of the season on the podcast we were saying, listen, if you don't make top 4, he needs to get sacked. And the challenge was put to him, and he was under that pressure. And boy, did he pull through it.
Any thoughts for anyone? Anyone can go. If not, we're gonna go. Oh, Kyle, you're muted. You're muted, Kyle. Go on, Jay. Go.
I like how Ramon is sugarcoating it. And it's okay. We've had this discussion, and he's gonna stick by this facade that he's putting on, and it's okay. Everyone deals with trauma in different ways, and this is how he chooses to do it, and that's fine, and that is totally fine by it. But we call spades because they're spades, and if this was any other team, you would be saying bottled. So I'll leave it as that.
Well done, Arsenal. Proud of you boys.
I just want to just echo what Javern said. I agree with everything that Javan just said. You know, like if it was Liverpool, United, Barca, West
Even
Ham,
even poor
Leicester.
Leicester. I
Yeah,
remember
You
last
know,
season. Remember when he said, "Nah, they bottled it. They bottled it."
if it was
Poor Leicester, you know.
I
if it
know,
was Real
Jerome, it's
Madrid,
true. It's
I
true.
agree,
Poor
100%.
Leicester.
I agree with
if
that.
it
I
was
100% agree.
Juventus,
They did bottle it. I
PSG,
expected them to get fourth, and they didn't. Whereas
Okay,
this
would
team,
so
you
I
then that
expected
means
them.
guys?
Arsenal.
I didn't expect them. I didn't expect this Arsenal team to win.
You
They
didn't
expected
expect
Man.
Leicester against fourth at the start of the season.
No, but at one stage I did, and at one stage this season I never
because you
even
had greater
thought.
expectations of everyone else other than your own club.
No, and I expect Arsenal to be the best. I expect
Listen,
them to
it's
win
okay.
everything.
It's okay, man. It's okay,
No,
Ramon.
I'm okay. I'm happy,
You know,
man.
everyone gets it, but Arsenal from you, and it's okay.
No,
Yeah.
man, I'm happy, man. Enjoy it. You gotta enjoy the ride. You gotta enjoy the ride, man.
I just
I
have
just on a
to
roller coaster, but he
reiterate what
crashed and
Javan
died at
said,
the
man.
end, but he enjoyed the ride. Sorry, go on, man.
Shameful, Ramon, man. Shameful.
Kyle, what you saying?
Oh,
You don't have
no.
bottled the league from this position 4 times in history. The most
They are the cheap
out of
bottlers.
any other club.
They are like how Spurs have kept this. Arsenal fans are
It must
powerful.
run. It must run in North London. It must.
It's a North London thing.
Arsenal fans are
Must
powerful.
run.
They win all the polls, anything that needs a vote, they win it. And somehow they've convinced the world that Spurs are the bottlers. When the history shows that nobody bottles it like Arsenal. I think 3 out of the top 4 Premier League titles of teams in the first place and not to win it. Arsenal just repeat, clean it up, treble.
I'm screaming.
Treble.
Invincibles.
But this is the thing, though. Spurs build their own mentality because in the year that he bottled the league, they can't even get in the top 8. They created it for themselves. They created it for themselves.
That's fine.
create their own agenda.
That's fine. But we need to understand and address that you guys are top bottlers. You can pass it. You can pass it down the lane, but it doesn't move from your club. It's happened too many times, and you have to address it. And for you to sit there and say "well done" when it's happened for the 4th time, as everyone has said, there's a lot of questions to be asked there.
100%.
About
and the questions should be asked. I agree with that. Questions should be asked about why they weren't able to do it. I'm just saying I'm happy with the team because I didn't expect this. Listen, if you gave me 4th, I was taking that. I would have taken that. You gave me 2nd.
You know what? I hear that. You know what? If you say that, and I say, you know what? Cool. But if the games that you lost, West Ham, Liverpool, all of that, if they were like Man United, and then City,
they were Man United. And then it just happened in September. It was Man City both times.
But hold on,
it was Everton.
I'm saying
it was Brentford.
Listen, if those 4 seasons, listen, stop. I don't care about the season. I'm talking about that. It doesn't matter. You lost to them, but at that point in the season, you had things. You had.
But we hadn't also played City, and we hadn't.
Okay, and that's fine. Okay, now if you go and beat City, if you go and lose to City those 2 times, you still go and win the league.
Yep.
No, we don't. Because we're not good
enough.
We don't because we're not good enough. And
but you were good. You were good enough when you beat them before. How all of a sudden you're not good enough? All of a sudden?
No, we're not. But I told you this though. I don't know why everyone's surprised.
Ramon, I don't care about what you told me. I'm talking about what I've seen on the. I'm talking about what I see on the.
No,
I don't care. No. Stop.
You're not happy because you thought Arsenal were going to do it. You change your mind.
I don't care. I don't care
because someone in your head deluded you to think that Arsenal could win the league. And I tried to tell you that. I tried to say, stop, change your mind, stick to your prediction. You chose Man City.
You're right.
To them. But no, you
couldn't. Right. But I do not care about what you said, what this man said, what that person said. I'm going by what I'm seeing with my eyes on the TV. Okay, I don't care if I didn't predict. Who gives? I don't care because we weren't talking about your predictions. We're talking about what we're seeing here.
Reality.
And what we're seeing. We're talking about what we're seeing here. Those 4 games where it all went to pot. Like, okay, fair enough. If you had, let's say you drew to Liverpool. Fair enough, you drew to Liverpool. But Southampton. West Ham.
Irons.
We didn't beat Southampton earlier on the season either. We didn't beat them this year.
Ramon,
That's the thing.
Ramon,
beating them this year. We haven't beaten them in
Bowling's on
September,
fire.
October, or May.
Danny
You win
Shag
this.
and Danny
You win
Dyer,
this. You win
bowling's
this.
on
You
fire.
you definitely
Na
win
na
this.
na 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 na.
Just
Na na
you
na.
you definitely win this because it was in your hands. It was 100% in your hands.
I agree. It was
And
in
it's
our
not,
hands.
and
Of course.
it's not like you had to play Man United, inform Man United, and then you had to play
No, because
City
they
seven
beat us
times in a row.
already.
You didn't.
We don't have
You
to play them
didn't.
because they beat us
You
already.
didn't have to play them 7 times in a row. So there's no excuse for those games that you lost. Apart from Liverpool, I'll give you that because they're in the top 4. Everything else is a shambolic response. It's a shambolic response,
I
you
agree.
have to accept that.
And
you have to accept that.
It's shambolic.
And do
It's
not
shambolic.
and do not say and
It
do
is
not
shambolic.
come back
As bad
to
as
say,
it as bad. Listen, I'm agreeing with you. Those losses were shambolic, as well as the losses against Everton in February and against Southampton in October when we drew. They were terrible. I agree with you. Those games are awful. Unfortunately, we're just not good enough to win them. And I've been trying to tell you this.
Okay.
This is a good comment from Solar. He says Arsenal are the top rivers in the league. If you know NBA, you know NBA. In an 82 game season in the league, teams lose matches. Nobody's ever won all 82. I think the best record was 73-9. But if we lose 9 games in the playoffs, you're out. So you can't say, well, we lost 9 during the regular season and we lose 9 now. These, it was happening throughout the year. No. In the crunch moments, that's when you're supposed to home in and win. And you're winning more than everyone for 93% of the season. Or more. And in the crunch moments, it got flipped. It wasn't like, because when you actually deep it, yeah, you drew with Southampton earlier, you drew with Newcastle, you lost to Man United. But the run that you went on after the international break was terrible in comparison to your whole season. So what happened in that period was an anomaly. But it wasn't replicated before. So you can't use your previous results of the season to say, I expected that, because what you did after international break was worse than you had done all season. That's a bottle. If you had lost a 1 game here and then won 6 in a row and then lost another one like you were at the start of the season, you say, cool. But you didn't. I think you won 1 or 2 after the international break. And you didn't win a game for like 5 games. That wasn't what you did at the start of the season. That wasn't what you did in February. That wasn't what you did in October. This was squeaky bum time.
Yeah. And ultimately, you're right. And we just weren't good enough. Just was not good enough at the crunch time. I agree. We just weren't there. We should have been. But lessons weren't learned over the course of the season. If they were, maybe we would have been.
And if you can say that, then why the hell can't you say that they bottled it? Because if this was Leicester, you would say that they bottled it. So say that Arsenal bottled it.
Arsenal was so unlucky to win the Premier League.
Oh, Jesus. I actually have to go. I can't.
Robbie's speech is iconic, man.
Bigger fish to fry.
All in our hands.
All in our hands.
What were you gonna say, Cal? Before we move on to the to go for our predictions to start the season, what are you gonna say, Cal?
Oh no, nothing. Just
okay.
It's black and white. Arsenal bottled the league, and that's it. Don't let any Arsenal fan fool you to thinking otherwise. Even my uncle trying to tell me that they didn't.
Ain't nobody fooling me.
I'm not trying to hear it, man.
I mean, ultimately, we all lost the same game, right? Man City, the only winners this season, really.
We won a trophy.
Yeah. We all lost.
West Ham won a trophy.
We all lost, man.
Liverpool won a plate. And
I just wanna big up our sponsors, Arsenal.
Guys, smash the like button. This is what you say, Carl?
Just out of curiosity, you said Arsenal won top 93% of the season. Was the whole other 7% just Man City? I swear Newcastle was top for a stint.
No, not really. I think it was.
They were second. I don't think they touched first.
Yeah, I don't think they actually touched first. Maybe potentially over not at the end of a game week. They might have if they played first, then potentially I'm not sure, but not at the end of a game week. As a matter of fact, Arsenal weren't top Arsenal weren't top on the first game week, were they? Because you won 2-0.
Yeah.
Did nobody win more than 2 on the first?
Man City beat West Ham 2-0 first game of the season.
Yeah, but Arsenal would have been top on alphabetical order.
I'm trying to think, what was that? No, wait, you lost 4-0, no?
No, I think that was the second game this season. Yeah, because we
Oh.
lost the West Brighton first game 2-1. So Arsenal might have been top for literally the whole season like that after each game week, 93. Guys, we made some predictions at the start of the season, and we're not going to delve into.
Did we?
Yeah, apparently, I don't actually remember, but I'm going to put it up
it's
anyway.
The best part, but I actually have to go.
Wait. You actually got some right this year. So don't go yet. Apparently I made some predictions, but I don't remember it, so I'm just going to put it up. I don't know where these actually come from, but here they are. So yeah, we're not going to go through in depth, but to say 4 out of the 6 of us predicted Man City to win the league. The other 2 are Liverpool fans. Need I say more? Everyone had Liverpool in their top 2. Of course, Liverpool failed miserably. You know, not our fault, but it is what it is.
You got Golden Glove. Oh, sorry.
Wait,
Ahead of myself.
Jesus.
Sorry, I went ahead of myself. Sorry.
Everyone had Tottenham in the top 4. So me, Jay, Ramsey, Nat, and Bianca had them 3rd. Kyle had them 4th. They finished 8th. Embarrassing. Everyone bar Bianca and the Arsenal fan Ramsey had Arsenal in the top 4. Ramsey had no faith in his team and uses that as a stick to gloss over a paintbrush to gloss over the bottle. Had them 5th. Chelsea, I'm actually proud of this Chelsea one because they made all these signings and I stuck to my guns. I said, no, I'm not going to put them in there. And obviously, Jay being pessimistic as a Chelsea fan kept them outside. Kyle and Nat also had them outside. Ramsey had them inside the top 4.
Man said I'm proud. They finished 12th, big man.
12. I'm proud of but we don't go down to 12, so we just have to somewhere around the top 6.
We go outside. We go outside 6. We say 6.
Next season we'll do it. Next season we will. It's top 4 and everything else. And then when you're not in the top 4, everyone else. But yeah, Bianca and Ramsey had Chelsea in the top 4. They will go far from that. No European football.
No, Carl's the clear winner here. I just see that he has
4.
4.
Whoa! There's a long. Listen, we just got started, mate. I know we're 2 hours in, but we just got started. Man United. Nobody had Man United in the top 4, including myself. Matter of fact, I had them 6th. Kyle had them 5th. Everyone else had them 6th. I was actually surprised that I had them 6th. I think last season you had them. No, I thought you had them outside of everything, to be fair.
Remember, I had United outside the top 6, and then I added them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe after the Casemiro or something.
Neeks, I thought you put Man United above Chelsea in the end.
No.
Are you sure this is the right one?
This is the right one. I've verified it over and over again. This is the right one. Obviously, we make some
see that verification process, man. Doesn't seem right.
Relegation. Ramsey's the only one who got a relegation team right, which is me. He actually got them spot on in that position in 19. We all bar, no, actually, no, not all, but 2 of us had Fulham. Three of us had Fulham. Bianca, me, and Jay. Fulham finished in the top half. Bournemouth, everybody had Bournemouth. They survived. And then Nottingham Forest was another one that
Everton.
Everyone had Nottingham Forest, and they survived.
Oh yeah.
And then Nat and Kyle missed out at the death with the Corey saving Everton there. Golden Boot. Salah. All wrong. Jay and Kyle with Haaland. I mean, well done. Golden Glove, Alisson and Edison. I mean, Ramsey was the only one with Edison, but everyone has Alisson. David De Gea. FA Cup, 2 had Man City, Ramsey and Kyle. Tottenham, Chelsea were the other 2 choices. League Cup, nobody had Man United. And Champions League, actually, Bianca had Man City. That's not green. 4 had Man City. Nat, had Liverpool, and I was cheating. Apparently, I had Bayern. I don't know where that came from. Yeah, Bayern Munich.
It's embarrassing.
And the UEL, the Europa League. Nat, you were close. Nat, you were close. You had Roma, but you lost.
They got robbed, man. So it counts.
No prizes for second place. So, guys, based on this, we do have a winner, Kyle. Kyle has 4 exact correct answers, and 2, there or thereabouts in Arsenal and Chelsea. 1 inside top 4, 1 outside top 4. Kyle predicted a quadruple, by the way. He had Man City winning the League Cup. Ramsey predicted a treble of Man City, and he was spot on. Predicted treble, got the treble, and he had Leeds in the exact position, actually, in relegation. I would have given green for that in any relegation, to be honest. But
wow.
And Jay, you really pulled out this time. He actually got some good predictions there. Man City, Haaland, Man City. Well done.
He failed. He predicted a double. Failed it.
Nat's actually the big loser, by the way, because Bianca actually got Man City winning the Champions League. It's not green. Nat failed to get any correct predictions. So that speech about him knowing ball.
Damn.
Wait, the guy that knows ball. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Incorrect.
I got robbed, man.
However, guys,
I got robbed.
We have looked at the VAR footage, and there's some slight corrections. So I'll take you back to a conversation.
Oh, Lord.
I stated in the Neeks Sports chat, I said to Kyle, I am marking you down if they don't win the quadruple. Kyle said, I'm not saying quadruple. It's just tactical. They'll win 2 more something. I said, if Man City don't win the quadruple, you are dusted. Kyle said, not at all. You lot all rubbish. I said, you tried to cheat the system. He said, nope, I believe they will win. So above he stated that it was tactical. Then he stated that he tried that he believes they'll win and he didn't cheat the system. So as a result, we thought Kyle had won, but Kyle did not win. So I award this season's predictions to Ramsey, who has predicted the treble of Manchester City and leads in the relegation. And Kyle, wait, I haven't finished. And that
guys, I have to actually really go.
Oh, that's fine. You can go. I want you to see that.
Okay.
In a bit, bro.
What's your TikTok?
What's my TikTok? Lipstick. I think it's just Javern Pond. Search that. You come across me.
Type it in the chat. In the actual live chat. So go follow Jay on TikTok. So yeah, Kyle. It moves us perfectly onto the section that we're calling I apologize. And this is where anyone who made bold, wild prediction at the start of the season can own their sins and just say, I apologize. And for you, your charge is that I want you to apologize for not respecting the integrity of the preseason predictions. And I go on. I haven't stopped yet. I go on. Because I want to run it back a little bit. In 2020, 2021, Kyle predicted Man City to win the league and Man City to win the Champions League. We didn't do FA Cup predictions back then. I asked Kyle, who do you think is going to win the Premier League? Kyle said, and not verbatim, I'm going to give you the bookies' favorites. I said, Kyle, who do you think is going to win the Champions League? He said, I'm going to give you the bookies' favorites. I said, cool. I let it pass. Maybe he doesn't understand how the predictions work, but cool. 2021-22. I said, Kyle, who do you think's going to win the Premier League? He said, I'm going to give you the bookies' favorites, Manchester City. I said, Carl, who do you think is going to win the Champions League? He said, well, Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe, I'm going to give you the bookies' favourites. Okay, all right, Carl. All right. I get it now. You can read. You know how the odds work. Cool. We move on to this season. I said, Kyle, who do you think is going to win the Premier League? He said, I'm going to give you the bookies' favourites. I said, FA Cup, bookies' favourites. League Cup, bookies' favourites. Champions League, bookies. Kyle, I wanted your prediction. If I wanted the bookies' favourites, I would have made a column for the bookies' favourites. So I wanted you, Kyle, to apologise for not respecting the integrity of the predictions and have a mind of your own. If I wanted the bookies' favourites, I wouldn't have brought you on the podcast. Just like you apologise.
You know what? First of all, I'm not gonna apologize. You know what it is? It's not a problem when you're not winning, because this is the first time I've got my Champions League prediction correct, and I haven't always picked Manchester City.
You put the favourites. You always put the favourites.
Wait, stop. This is my first time I've gotten my Golden Boot prediction correct, because in the past I've never picked Salah. Salah's bookies' favourites, and I don't pick Salah. I've never gone with Salah. I've gone.
Correction. Last season you picked Salah.
Okay. First time. Oh, yeah, I got that one right, didn't I? Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course you did. The bookies' favourites.
I got that one right. However, it becomes a problem when I start winning, and because I win these things more often than not, Neeks is trying to find a way to make up some, as Javerne would say, tyranny rule to discredit me. That's what it is. Secondly, you once told me that that's not how football works. The favourites just don't always walk in and win everything that they're the favourites for. Because if that was the case, you would know who would win everything at the start of the season. Just look at who's the favourites. I'll take you back to our World Cup predictions. The World Cup that just finished in December. Who was the bookies' favourites?
Argentina.
Brazil.
No.
Stop.
Argentina.
Stop.
No, it was Brazil.
Brazil was bookies' favourites. Brazil was bookies' favourites. And who went with the bookies' favourites? It's only one person. You. Bookies' favourites. I didn't go with bookies' favourites. I went Argentina. Was I correct? I was correct. I don't make predictions of bookies' favourites. I make predictions on who I think will generally win. I actually try to be correct. I don't try to be bold and go and put a massive left turn and be like, I'm going to try something different. No, I'm going with some genuine predictions and trying to be as correct as possible. Man City have won.
Talking to the mic.
Man City have won 3 Premier League titles in a row. I would be a fool not to pick them to win the title. Why would I back against them? You picked them, Ramon picked them, Javerne picked them, everybody picked Man City, bar the 2 Liverpool fans, because it makes sense. They are the best team. They have been coming agonizingly close year in, year out to the Champions League. Thought maybe this might be their year. Last year, I strayed away, went PSG. I was wrong. Okay, Man City win it. They got a good team. Who in England is really better than them? Nobody. All right, let's give them the FA Cup. Let's give them the League Cup. They're gonna win them. They might not, but they're gonna win them. And you talk about the bookies' favourites and how it's so obvious. We had 6 predictions for Golden Boot. Only 2 people got it correct. And you say I only picked the bookies' favourites. You didn't run back the clip that I sent you. You didn't run back the clip where everyone's talking about I didn't predict Haaland to do XYZ. Yet on our prediction podcast, I said I wouldn't be surprised if Haaland got 35 goals. Hence why I'm picking him. You didn't run that back. I even gave you some statistics to go with it, but you didn't run that back. You run back the WhatsApp chat, but you didn't run back the clip that I sent you, did you? Because it's a tyranny. Ramon didn't believe me until I sent the clip in the chat. Ramon didn't believe me, but I said I wouldn't be surprised if he got 35 goals. And here we are sat, him bagging 35 Premier League goals, and you're not running that back. So if you got it, please run it back. Run it back.
I will try and find this. apparent clip that exists that Carl's made up out of thin air. But we're still waiting for your apology.
There's no apology. No, there's no apology. So continue your podcast.
We'll be marking this against your record going forward. Ramsey, I'd like you to apologize.
Mm-hmm.
I would like you to apologize because all season you've been riding on Kyle's coattails as he mocks me for certain predictions I've made. Maybe someone might bring it up. I'm not one to do that myself.
Mm-hmm.
And you were talking about Erling Haaland this, Erling Haaland that, greatest striker of all time. Oh, this, that, whatever. Ramsey, remind the watching faithful, who did you predict to win the Golden Boot?
Mohamed Salah.
So, are we doing predictions or are we spreading our eggs into multiple baskets because we don't really trust ourselves and our predictions and we just want to be right? What I'm either going to be right on the pod or I'm going to be right on the WhatsApp. Which one is it? You stick to your guns. Yourself. I think you are bringing the predictions into disrepute, and I want you to apologize.
All right, so I cast my mind back to that time, and I remember when you asked me, so who's gonna win the Golden Boot, and I said it's tough. I said it's gonna be a tough one, and I said it's between Mo Salah, Harry Kane, and Erling the Brought Haaland. I said it's tough. I said I don't know who to go for. I said I'm actually stuck. I wasn't trying to spread eggs. I wasn't trying to choose. I just genuinely was stuck, and I didn't know who to do. And I ended up saying Mo Salah. And after that, I said I'm not happy about it because I was not happy about that decision because I could have, and I genuinely could have gone either of those three. But the only reason why I went Mo Salah is because I've never gone for him before, and I thought he's won so many, you might as well just, or he's won a couple, might as well just go for him again. And I did actually doubt Erling the Brought Haaland. I did not think he would get the Golden Boot this year, but it wasn't that of I don't think he's got no chance. I genuinely had him in a three-way race. Where I was wrong was that there was no race. he won it by January or whatever it was. Like it was done. So I'll apologize to Erling himself for doubting that he could get. Even though I did say I think he will get 30 goals, but I think that was more all comps rather than the league. He ended up getting 50 in all comps. So again, I underrated the greatness of the man. But yeah, I don't regret going for Mo Salah in the choice because I was genuinely starting out. I genuinely wasn't about spreading eggs, and there have been times I spread the eggs, but this one was genuinely about I did not know who I could win. But looking back, it was a bit of a.
So I didn't trust Erling Haaland. You didn't trust Erling Haaland. Yeah, I'm the one who gets pelted with stones all season.
Yes, because there's levels to it. Because there's levels to it.
Wait. Before we go to the levels, let me just bring up the video that Kyle, I think he's literally just copied it and made it now. I don't even recognize these people. Who's that one with that hair is very different. That's not me. But anyway, we'll play the video. Apparently it's something.
I think he could well hit between 30, 35. I really do. Like it's like
if he has 35 shots on target this year, he's done well.
Like, can you timestamp that, please, so we can come back?
Nathaniel, you wanted us to timestamp. We came.
So you don't really
see?
Neeks laugh.
I had something in my throat.
I wanted to timestamp it to prove that Kyle was right.
Okay, yeah, sure, yeah.
Kyle, I'm your biggest fan.
You ridiculed me when I told you the man could get 35 goals, and you ridiculed me. Ridiculed all season. And Ramon is lying. The man said, I was stuck between the three, but when I picked Mo Salah, I wasn't happy with it. No, you wasn't happy with it because when we came back, when the transfer window closed, Haaland had about 20 goals already. So you wanted to change it. That's what it was. After we came back to review after the window closed to make our little changes,
you wouldn't let me. But you wouldn't let me. You wouldn't let me. You wouldn't let me. You wouldn't let me. No, you wouldn't let me. Man City made a signing. Man City. No, Man City signed. Man City signed.
No, I'm not trying to hear it. I'm not trying to hear it.
Man City signed Calvin Phillips, and I generally thought that would change the course of everything, and that would allow Erling de Bruyne Haaland to get 35 goals. But you lot would not let me.
Yeah, Calvin Phillips didn't even play.
Ramon, you owe us extra apologies at this point.
Wait, you wanted to timestamp it? Why you want to timestamp that?
So we can go back to the fact that Kyle was right and you were doubting him.
You have no intention of proving Kyle right ever, so stop your foolishness.
What do you mean? You don't know my intentions. That was my intention.
Your intentions are not pure. They're never pure.
Listen.
Right, we got a half apology out of Ramsey. I mean, Nat's fault. If we were to apologize for Nat, it would be like the whole show. So
I don't even have anything to apologize for.
I apologize for Nat and the viewers.
What did I say?
All your predictions were terrible. Liverpool win the league, the finish fair.
Yeah, but predictions are predictions. Like, I haven't said anything that needs apologizing for. I always give good opinions. You know, I'm not delusional like these.
You're lucky I allowed you to put Man United back in the top 6. Anyway, this section's open. Anyone can agree on anything they want.
I want an apology from you. You laughed.
What was it?
You thought what I said was absurd.
Yeah.
You said, and I quote. We just saw it. He'll be lucky. He'll be lucky if he got 35 shots on target. And I want an apology.
All right.
I want an apology. You said Darwin Núñez gonna out. Let's run back to the Darwin Núñez. Let's run back to the Darwin Núñez.
Run it back.
Darwin Núñez said Haaland would do good to get 15 goals this season, and Darwin Núñez will score more than Erling Haaland this season.
Mm-hmm.
I think me and Haaland need an apology.
Firstly, I am going to apologize for making a sound. I mean, God gave us voice box and the ability to make sounds. I mean, what does a sound prove? Not much. I also stated that he'll be lucky to get 35 shots. I mean, it's a bit of a throwaway comment. I ain't apologizing for that. Obviously, he's going to get 35 shots. But you're right. I did say that Darwin Núñez will score more goals in the league than Erling Haaland. I said that Haaland will score more in all competitions. You know, I respected him there. But as far as Darwin Núñez and Erling Haaland goes,
I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the he wants.
Have shame.
I am apologizing. You want me? Sorry, wait, hold up. The only person that should be apologizing for that, well, there's two people, is Darwin Núñez and Jurgen Klopp. You spent a king's ransom on a striker who tore up Van Dijk at Anfield, who tore up Ronaldo's old stomping ground over in Portugal, came to the nearly quad winners in Liverpool. And I'm supposed to apologize because he's holding bench for Cody Gakpo. Me? Is it my fault?
The same Gakpo you wanted to sign, yeah.
I'm glad you did.
You know what? Do you know what's funny?
Darwin Núñez should apologize to me. I had faith in him. He should apologize to me. I ain't got no apology for nobody.
I just think it's funny how Neeks introduced an apology segment, but he can't apologize for anything. Man said, "Come apologize," but he can't apologize for nothing. Exactly shameless.
What am I apologizing for?
Shameless.
Absolutely shameless, bro.
Shameless.
I don't understand.
Man said Darwin will adapt better to Liverpool than Haaland would to Manchester City. Shameless.
I told you, look, this guy is worse, just as bad as me.
Ramon, you didn't see the
He just says it nicely.
Ramon, you
He's
didn't see the
just as bad as
Shield?
me.
Yes, I did see the Community Shield.
Man scored the Community Shield. Haaland blazing over the bar. Haaland scored less goals in 2 finals than Darwin scored in 1. I mean, I'm kind of right. But when you really look at it,
Shameless.
I'm telling you, this guy's just as bad as me.
You know what? I'm gonna be the bigger man because Kyle is a joke. Kyle's a joke. Man, just you know what I'm gonna do. Sorry, I'm just gonna say next season, Kyle. Who's the favorites? Give me the favorites. I'll put your name. I don't want to hear your predictions. I'll put them in for you. Ramsey, I'm gonna ask you, who do you think is gonna win X, Y, Z? And whatever you say, I'm gonna do the opposite. Because you're not a man of your word. But guys, you know what? I'm gonna be the bigger man. I apologize for not backing Haaland to do what he does in Football Manager. I thought Football Manager was a game. Haaland is the game. It's a robot. AI. What can I do? I apologize. I did not see this coming. I thought football was a game of 11 men v 11 men. In reality, it's 11 men v 10 men and a robot. I apologize. I didn't see the future. My bad. And hopefully I'll set the precedent, and hopefully you lot can come better next season and stand your shameless predictions.
My predictions were shameless, bro. They were spot on.
Embarrassing. You're embarrassing. It's a favorites. Can't you just pick the favorites? You went into the bookies, you put £100 down and came out with £1 profit because you just bet the favorites and everything. Yeah, guys, I got a good return. I went and spot on 100 to 1, 50 to 1. You lose. But I had fun doing it. You just put on the favorites. All right.
But I was right, wasn't I?
You might as well stay at home. Where are you going to the bookies to earn £1 on 100? You might as well stay at home. I'm just saying, innit?
You know who the favorites are next season?
we know who you're betting for. You're going Man City. Haaland. I don't know if you're going to go goalkeeper because that's a tough one. Where's Sevilla? Sevilla in the Europa League? No, they won it. You probably bet Sevilla. You probably still bet Sevilla to win the cup, or you might do Aston Villa because Emery's there. I've seen you. You know what? You're not even invited to the next pod. You're not invited. I've got your predictions ready. I'm good. We're good. We're getting new men.
Why? Are you tired of me winning? Is that what it is?
You didn't win, sorry. Ramon won. Ramon predicted the treble, and he won the treble.
No. You're doing that Lewis Hamilton thing again. You're doing that. Stop. He doesn't have 8. I won. Stop.
Wait, sorry. What did Ramon predict? The treble?
Treble, yeah.
What did you predict, Carl?
Treble.
No. What did you predict, Carl?
I predict Man City to win
a quadruple. No,
those words never came out my mouth. Those words never came out my mouth. I predict them to win all 4 trophies, and they won 3 out of the 4.
Has anyone got a ball for this section?
Yes.
Pardon?
I've got some.
Go ahead.
I've got some. First of all, I'm going to talk to a man who's not actually here. And actually, I'm going to start with an apology.
Oh.
I'm going to start with an apology. I'm going to apologize to Javern, and he would have loved it if he was here, but he couldn't be here. I'm going to apologize direct to Jay because...
Clip it.
Because ultimately, he set me... I kind of set him... I set myself a challenge. But I did say to Jay that if Gabriel Jesus gets Arsenal into the top 4, I would declare him a hit. And I said to Javon, until that happens, I'm not saying it. He's a miss and he's a terrible player. But I'm going to apologize to Javon because he told me that Jesus will get Arsenal into the top 4. And you know what? Granted, 3 months of injuries or whatever, he has helped Arsenal get into the top 4, and I was wrong. Gabriel Jesus is a hit, and Javern was right all along. He's a hit. He's a hit. I just didn't see it. I didn't see it.
He's a miss.
I didn't see it.
He's
I didn't see
terrible.
it. And listen, maybe if we had him for 4 more months,
He might not have won the league.
maybe we would have won the league. Anyway, Nat, I'm coming to you. So Nat, you said you didn't make any wild statements or anything like that. You weren't wild, but I'd like you to apologize because you said that you lot are all forgetting about Julian Alvarez. We're like, what? You said, yeah, because if Julian Alvarez gets a game for Manchester City, he would have a better start to his Manchester City career than Erling Haaland. Apologize. Apologize now.
I didn't say that.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Is there any video footage
Yes, it's on there.
of
It's on
me
the same
saying that?
prediction.
Haaland's
It's
making
on there.
mincemeat out of a lot of people today.
I can't believe that the stupidness people said against this guy. I can't believe it. The guy's come almost a goal a game ratio to the best team.
I said that.
Yeah. One little community shield, one little appearance, and all of a sudden it was you lot are forgetting about Julian Alvarez. If he gets a game and he starts, he will have a better start to his Man City career than Erling Haaland.
Better start to his career.
Yeah.
Yeesh. I don't remember saying that.
I know you don't.
I'm gonna have to plead the fifth. I must have to take the Neeks route.
Wow.
I thought I set the precedent.
There's a precedent, man. I'm taking the Neeks route here because I don't remember saying that.
No, I apologize. I apologize.
That's the worst one. Yeah,
but now I'll give you one more chance. Chance to make an apology, and it's along the similar sort of lines because you obviously predicted Liverpool to win the league. We know that you got that wrong. Yeah. But on those lines, you also said, I expect Erling Haaland to bottle it for Manchester City. You cannot overlook how good this Liverpool squad is, and Erling Haaland will not get Manchester City the Premier League.
I said that. That English doesn't even sound like me.
I'm telling you. You said Liverpool.
Whoever
will
said
win
that
the
was
league.
well spoken.
This was in your prediction. You said Liverpool will win the league, and we said, yeah, you're deluded. And you said, I expect Haaland to bottle it. Exactly. I mean, that is something I wouldn't say, but you said Haaland would bottle it. Not Pep. You said Haaland. You named him. Haaland would bottle it, and you cannot overlook how good the Liverpool squad is. We will win the league.
Oh. Yeah. You know what happened? Do you know what happened? I remember what happened that day. So that day, I woke up and I decided I was gonna let my clone do the podcast. So, but in chat GPT, sometimes when you type stuff in, it comes up a little bit wrong. When you do a bit of programming, like I told him something else, but he's got his Y's crossed and he's got his and dotted his T's instead of his I's and all that kind of stuff in it. So he said some things that I wouldn't say personally because I know Haaland is a prolific goal scorer. But I would like to apologize on my clone's behalf for his delusion because I would never say that. You get me? So on my clone's behalf,
I'm so sorry that these guys
I'm
can't
sorry.
take accountability. I'd like to apologize.
I can't believe he said that. That's crazy.
You're a disgrace.
Yeah, no, he can't. I can't let him do the podcast for me ever again. That's mad.
But I got one more.
Oh God,
I've got one more.
Oh my days, not for me.
Nah, this one we'll revert back to where we just came from. We'll get back to Neeks.
Oh my God.
So Neeks, to be fair, the wildest statement is already out there. It's already, you put it out there already. So let's not, beat around the bush. You got that wrong. You apologized. We accept it. Wait,
what's that? You say you accept it. So does that mean that I'm not going to be here for the next 10 years?
Oh, don't worry. You'll hear that. The same way you told me Pogba was winning that league, you're going to hear it. You're going to hear it. However, It's more of about a clarification of a few statements that you made, whether you want to stick to them or not. You said that obviously at the time we recorded the podcast, the transfer window was still open.
Mm.
You said that paying £70 million for Anthony would be too much to pay for someone from the Dutch league. We've got examples of it. You even told us. We got Matthias de Ligt, failed. We got De Jong, didn't really pull up any trees. He said, obviously this is 1st of August, whatever it was. He said at the end of August. He said, he said, they've got to come down from that price tag. We're not going to pay that money. £70 million is too much to pay for Anthony. You paid the money. You paid the money. You paid the money in cash. Are you happy with that decision? Are you happy with that decision that you made there? Because you told us it was too much. You told us it was too much.
I stick to what I said 100%. I think Anthony's a good player. But it's from the Dutch league. There's nobody from that league. Really, I stick by it. I don't care how good they might even turn out to be. It's a bad league with no money. You should be able to do better business. We got Lissandro Martinez. I know he's not a tackle. We got Lissandro Martinez for 50 odd million. Even that was probably 10 million more than really we should have if we'd done the business earlier. But he has taken like a duck to water to the Premier League, barring maybe the first 45 minutes of the season. But Anthony's got a lot of. And again, I didn't see much of Anthony before the season started. That in the past. He's young, 20 odd years old, like 21 or something when he joined. It's too much for someone. He ain't really done that in the Champions League. Like we're buying on hope that he can develop into a great player, and the fact that Ten Hag's worked with him already. If Ten Hag didn't work with him before, Ten Hag wouldn't have sanctioned a 70 million signing. So I do think it's too much, but I do think he'll be a good signing for us. I think he's probably in this market more a £50 million player. But yeah, as long as he's good, in the end, I think he'll be good. So I stick with my statement.
All right.
We overpaid.
My last one, and I'm done. So you also mentioned that Spurs have the best front three in the Premier League.
I remember this one.
And you didn't say barring Man City but you said Spurs have the best front three in the Premier League. Now, we know how good Harry Kane is. He's brilliant.
Do we? Because I feel
we do. I'm not even going to part
of my defense. That's going to be part of my defense.
No. You can defend yourself. We know how good Harry Kane is. Don't get me wrong. We also know how good Son is. But I did say to you at the time, within the front three, one of them could take you down. You said, they won't take you down that much because the two of them are so good. Richarlison has got 1 Premier League goal this season. Kulusevski has 2. 57 games between them, they've got 3 goals. 57 games between them, they got 3 goals. Do you still stand by that statement, or are we getting an apology?
Personally, I'm not even.
No. Wait. If you don't apologize for this, you're banned from the next episode.
You be quiet, man.
That is worse than anything my clone said.
You be quiet, man. Right now. No integrity. Firstly, I'm not even putting this on Kulusevski and Richarlison, because Son is the reason why this statement ain't true. No, let's be honest. Because if what's his name? Kulusevski got 2 goals and 7 assists in the Premier League this season. He had an injury-ridden season. If he had that, Kane did what he did, and Son did what he was before, I'll be like, I'll stick by it, and I'll say it because who's the other than that? You the Man City, you got Haaland, Grealish, and Bernardo Silva. Saka, Martinelli, and Nketiah. Who's the what's the? That's pretty much. That's what we're talking. That's what we're talking.
Wickhurst, Rashford, Anthony.
Yeah. It's literally that. So if Son had done what he had done, 100%, I'm not backing away from that. I might be wrong, but I'm close enough to being right that I'm not. But it's Son who's let me down. So you can highlight Richarlison and Kulusevski. They're the third wheel. I don't expect them to be doing madness. Son is absolutely... But I'm not going to apologize. The reason why I'm not... No, I'm not. No, I'm going to be honest. The reason I'm not... Because knowing me, I'll apologize now, and next season someone will do it. No, I'm not. I'm not doing it. If we want to bring this up midway next season or whatever, and it's the same thing, cool, I'll hold my hands up. But
mate,
one
Kane ain't even
swallow...
gonna be there next season.
Innit? Trust me. Front three gone. Front three gone.
But one swallow does not a summer make. And I'll bring this back next season. I'm not I've already apologized.
This guy.
Wait, this guy, stop talking. Unless the next one...
I didn't say anything.
Nah, unless the next one's out of your mouth, I'm sorry or I apologize. I don't want to hear anything else from you for the podcast. When have you done anyway?
I did not.
Well, we're not necessarily.
I actually have a quick one. It's not,
Oh God, talking to the
no,
mic.
it's just more of a,
Talk to the mic. Talk to
it's
the
just a
mic.
quick, no, it's just a quick yes or no. Because I remember at the start of the season, after Arsenal were tearing it up, and there were a couple accusations, a couple narratives that were flying around. Well, one in particular, and I just wanna address it now. I just wanna ask the question. I expect the answer from everyone to be no. I want to look more towards Neeks, because it was Neeks that was posing the question, posing the narrative. And the question was,
Guys, I'm glad you can see there's an agenda against it.
Neeks is here for the content, man. He's here for the content.
And we're taking it back to the unfortunate man that kind of got blasted at the start of the season, Erling Haaland. The question was, is Manchester City worse or better off with Erling Haaland? And the narrative was that he makes them a worse team. Now Arsenal were running away with the league, and Man City had a double, a back-to-back, and they were expected to win the Premier League, and Arsenal were running away. And the narrative was that, is Erling Haaland making Man City a worse team? Lo and behold, come the end of the season, they are now treble winners. So I just want to ask, has Erling Haaland made Manchester City a worse team?
I'm going to answer that question with a question. No, I'm not. I'll answer it properly. But I'm going to say two things. He played a final against Inter Milan. Didn't score. Didn't assist. Didn't score. He played a final against Manchester United. Didn't assist. Didn't score. I'm just going to double check something. He played a second leg against Real Madrid with the game tied, the tie tied. Didn't assist, didn't score. He went back to Germany for who's fighting?
No, sorry.
And he missed the penalty against Bayern Munich. Now, listen, 50-odd goals in 50-odd games, great achievement. But Man City won 2.
He's about to call him small game.
Man City run. No, I'm not going to call him that. Man City, because he's got a hat-trick in the Manchester Derby. I'm not going to call him that. Never. Impossible. But Man City won 2 Premier Leagues already. Won the season before with higher points. Higher points. And this season they won the league again. Like they were going to win it. They actually had to change things to make sure they won it, because he kind of disrupted a bit, and then it's like, all right, now we've got it perfect. He win. So yeah, he didn't make Man City work, But did he make them better? Did he make them better? I can't categorically say he made them better. He didn't make them worse. I agree with that. Didn't make them worse. I think he made them more.
They never won the Champions League before.
Yeah, but they didn't win it because of him. They won it.
Yes.
With him in the team. There's a difference.
He got them to the final.
He didn't score a goal against Real Madrid.
He got them to
or an assist. He didn't score in the final. I'm not saying they're worse with him, because they're not. Of course they're not. They won the treble. Are they better with him? I'm not saying they're not better with him. But did he make them better? No, he didn't. Pep made them better. Pep made Man City better this season than they were last year. That's it. Pep made Man City better. And
you know the reason why Rodri scored that goal? You know the reason why he had so much space on the edge of the box? Because they had five man circled around Erling Bro. And Rodri came in and said, you know what, let me just tap this home. Yeah. He was the maker. He was the one they were shook off. Provided, basically assisted the goal.
But you know what I'll say? Haaland at no point did he make Man City worse. Because, that's not on a player. But Man City were worse at the start of the season, I'll say first half of the season, with Haaland in the team than they were the season before. But Pep, being the genius that he is, found a system that, you're breathing deep down that mic. They found a system that got the best out of Erling Haaland, the great striker that he is, and didn't compromise them defensively. Because that's what was happening. They were going direct and trying to get Haaland involved, and they were getting countered them. And then the man went 4 centre backs and said, well, try and counter us now. And we've got, so basically they could afford to commit less people forward because they had Haaland in the team. But at the start of the season, they weren't better with him. And the second half of the season, they were back to their usual. So no, he didn't make them worse. He didn't. But that was not I don't think that was my statement. I think it's more of a question that I asked.
Yeah. So, I think what was your statement, though? But you might want to retract. Casemiro being the best midfielder in the world. You want to apologize for that one, mate.
So Rodri wins 1 Champions League, and Casemiro got 5. Man of the match, 5. I ain't apologizing. So
That's historian, bro.
I'm well out of apologies, as a matter of fact. I said enough apologies for the season, guys. Listen, we're nearly done. Nearly done. Quick look forward to next season. Now, obviously, it's hard to say what's going to happen, blah blah blah. But just a quick little go around. What we expecting from Arsenal, Ramsey? What are you expecting from Arsenal next season? And when I say expectation, it's not about your prediction now, but with season the transfer window started. As a club, what do you expect your club to do to allow your manager and your players to meet certain targets? What is what's the target for Arsenal Football Club next season?
I'll just clarify. So this ain't going to be used in any sort of prediction. You said this or you said that. This is clean cut, yeah.
Everything's being recorded. Everything's being recorded.
You do say at this point. Well, I'm not gonna say that. Sorry. Anything you do say shouldn't be used against you in future podcasts. That's all I can say. I can't speak for everyone.
But now
let me say my piece. So I think Arsenal. What do I expect from Arsenal next year? I expect Arsenal to strengthen in the transfer window. I'm hoping they. I'm expecting Arsenal to have a better squad in the transfer at the start of the season than they had last year, especially now that we've got most of our players signed to new deals. So you've improved the squad. I'm expecting the squad to be stronger. Obviously, you never know what happens. A big £200 million bid might come in for, I don't know, Ramsdale, and you say yes, okay, fair enough. But I expect Arsenal to push on, go again. Obviously, it's Champions League now, so I'm expecting them to have a good run in Champions League. To be honest, I don't know what to expect in Champions League because I ain't been in it for so long. Might even get past the group stages. I don't know. I genuinely don't know I can't even remember what happens these days. Like how many games you need to win to get through, or I don't know. So we'll just enjoy that ride.
Now, bro. No one knows.
No one knows. Just enjoy. I think with Champions League, we're just going to enjoy the ride. Whatever happens, I hope we win. We don't come last or end up back in Europa. So I think I can't really make any predictions for that because I don't know. With the league, I would like us to challenge Man City again. I do think we got the squad enough to challenge them again. The issue is, I think Man City will be stronger next year again. I think they're going to make a couple of signs. They've already got Kovacic pretty much done. If they buy Gvardiol or whatever it is, and Gundogan stays or whatever, I just can't see them being stopped. So I can't say I expect Arsenal to win the league because Man City's there, and then we need them to have a howler next year. And what I would love to have is Man City just have a howler, 1 year off, take a break, chill. They did it with Liverpool. They gave Liverpool a Premier League. They literally gave them it on the plate. COVID season. They remember that anyway.
Yeah,
But
They gave it to us. Yeah.
they weren't even playing. They were just messing about, man. But it's need one of them years from them. And then Arsenal challenge. I want us to be in the same position. I want us to keep challenging again for the league. And actually, the cups were disappointing this year. The League Cup, I give it to them. I wasn't even fussed. But we got Man City in the FA Cup in the 4th round, and we couldn't beat them. So I'd like to have a good cup run, but I would expect them to keep pushing on and challenging for the league again. But yeah, that's as much as I can.
Nat, what are you expecting from Liverpool next season?
Between now and next season?
No, like as it stands right now, what do you explain it again? What do you expect your club, as a Liverpool Football Club, to do next season? What's the target? To win the Premier League? Like, what are we saying?
Definitely challenge for the league, be competitive in all the cups, hopefully make it to a couple finals. I expect to be in a couple next season, just see the new signings bang, really, like see things come together. That's what I'd like to see next season, definitely finish in the top 4.
Do you expect Liverpool to win the Europa League?
Win the Europa League? I expect us to make the finals. I expect us to at least make semi-final, final. I expect that. Anything below that, that's a failure. Bottle, shocking. Yeah, nah, that's embarrassing, because Europa League is like championship level, or like, that Man United level, wherever that is, So
funny because
it's a bit.
Klopp didn't win it when he was in it, but anyway.
Yeah, because he's too good for that. But the point is, the point is, we in the Europa League, I expect semi-final, final. Like, we have the team to win it. I don't care who's in it. We have the best team in the Europa League right now. Out of the teams that have qualified, I don't care who else is in it. We have the best team. Like, when you look at who we have and compare them to anybody, best goalkeeper, best centre back, best attackers, best midfielders, we have them all. So we should challenge for it. It's the Europa League, man.
It's a perfect segue, actually, because there's a team who dropped into the Europa League twice from the Champions League. And maybe they could say they're the best. Kyle, are you expecting Barcelona to get knocked out of the Champions League group stages again, or is Xavi finally gonna get to grips?
There's no group stages, mate. It's a league format.
No, not this season. Season after.
It's not the upcoming season.
No, season after.
Yeah,
this season
after. Yeah, season after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then yeah, I expect them to get knocked out.
Say what?
I expect them to get knocked out. I don't expect them to win trophies next season.
Man, I said they expect to get knocked out. Golly.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, they're in a rotten place right now, and things aren't going to get any better anytime soon. It ain't no shade on Xavi. Xavi's been given horrendous tools to work with, and
so
he's not.
So did Arteta. You got to work with what you got. Why is it no shade on Xavi? You got to get the best out of those players. No shade on Xavi. You're the league champions.
No, I'm not talking about the current. I'm not talking about the crop of players that he's got now. Like, some are gonna go, some are inevitably gonna leave. But it's the position that, when I say the tools, I mean everything. The club, the finances, the impending investigation. Like, everything is a mess right now. And you say get the best out of what you got, but he's literally got nothing. Like, they're trying to secure deals on a free, like bring back Aubameyang, and that's those are the kind of deals that they're working on. But next season, like the next 5 years ain't going to be very pretty for Barcelona. Like, I don't expect them to win anything. Anything that they do win is a blessing. Call it genius from Xavi, but yeah, I don't expect anything from them. They're actually finished, man.
Tried to get Messi back, pushed him all the way to America. Golly.
Yeah, exactly, man. That's what exactly. It. I don't want to say, but it's actually pretty bad, man. They're gonna struggle next season, man. They're gonna,
Music to my ears. That would be.
Carl says it every year.
I know he does.
No, last year, I actually said they would win the league, and they did. Last year, I predicted them to win the league, but
they must have been the favourites.
This guy.
Finally, Man United. Listen, as a club, I mean, I don't even know what that means right now because I don't even know who our owners are going to be. I really like. I've kind of got two expectations. If we get the Qataris in, oil me up, baby. Oil me up.
So now you're for it. Okay.
Pause.
I pause it. Oil me up. If we get the Qataris, I expect the club to provide Ten Hag the tools to challenge for the Premier League. That's right. And I don't think that's too far fetched. I really don't. And the reason why I say it,
but do you not think that it's a bit too late in terms of getting the deal done and getting the transfer sanctions?
Potentially, but let's say we get taken over tomorrow. Then what? Like, I don't know what's happening. It could be tomorrow. It could be 2 months. So I don't know. But the way I look at it is, Arsenal went from 5th to 80. How many points are you getting again? 84.
Yeah.
84 points. In the end, it was a title challenge. Man City won 89. Why can we not get the players necessary to challenge for the league title? Why? I mean, I know the Kane one's going to be difficult because Levy don't want to sell, but we've got enough money. Well, if we get the Qataris, we've got enough money in our pocket. Go out and get the players. I'm not saying if we don't do it, X should be sacked or why. You have to analyze the season properly. But I want to go into the season like, right, this squad is good enough. Now, whether it's good enough right now, maybe they might need a season, whatever. But I can't go into the season like, we still need this, we still need that, I can't do that. So that's why I expect them to have a squad that is complete in terms of the balance and the makeup of it. That squad is good enough to win the league. Not that it's not going to win it next year, but it's good enough to go and win it at some point without major investment going forward from there. So that we're talking 5, potentially 6 signings, probably 5 that go straight into the starting lineup next season. That's it from and obviously win the Champions League, probably quarterfinals. If we anything get knocked out before that is probably it's embarrassing, to be honest. Don't want to be in Europa League again. So please just get out of the group stage. But quarterfinals, I'd like to win another trophy. I'd like to win the FA Cup. I'm not gonna lie. We don't win it. We don't win it enough. We didn't win it enough under Fergie, and we haven't won it enough. Well, we only won it once post Fergie, 2016, isn't it? With Van Gaal. So we've lost a few finals. Well, we've lost the most finals. When we played the most finals, we also lost the most finals. So I'd like to win the FA Cup.
I thought you said it was a Mickey Mouse thing. You want Mickey Mouse trophies now?
Was that? I apologize. I didn't hear it properly. No, you didn't. Okay. Quarterfinals, Champions League, and have a squad that is capable of challenging for a league title. And anything less as a club is a failure. Like as a club, I'm not saying Ten Hag, but we need to be in that position because Man City are doing a madness right now, and someone has to stop them. And as a league in general, I just think I think it was actually Adam McCullough who said it. I couldn't remember where I heard it, but I think Adam McCullough, that if Man City are to be stopped, it's going to take more than one side. One team can't just go head-to-head with Man City and beat them. Obviously, it might happen once, but over an extended period of time, it's going to be difficult. Everyone needs to step up. Arsenal stepped up this year, but they weren't able to go the whole way. But no one else was stepped up. Someone else needs to take some points away from Man City at the Etihad, or whatever it is. I think Brentford did a double on them. But what's Man United doing? Losing 6-3. Chelsea lost. Liverpool lost 4-1. Like, the big team needs to step up. Or you start asking the question: are we the farmers? And nobody wants that question. But guys, listen, it's been a long one.
Neeks, talk about your other team, bro. If you want to talk about your other team.
Oh yeah, Leonorian got
No, not them. You're repping them on Saturday in your sky blue. Your team in blue.
But thanks for joining us, guys.
Come on now. Come on, Neeks, man. Stop hiding in the closet. Come out and admit that you're a City fan, bro.
Season review. 3 hours for the free trophies. 115 charges and a bottle. This season has had everything. It has had absolutely everything. And the summer's here. Transfers are happening. Obviously, McAllister's already gone to Liverpool. Declan Rice is probably joining Arsenal very soon. And Mason Mount. Hopefully, Pochettino can convince him to stay. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you soon.